Oh, I can't wait for the Scream Children.
The Scream Children.
That should be a show on Kids WB, the Scream Children. Would you watch that?
No, I would not actually, because this sounds like a fucking horror movie.
There once was a show called Crystal Cove. Sorry, Candle Cove. And there was a lost pilot where all the children were screaming and crying.
I don't like that.
It's not real. It's just a creepypasta. Welcome to the VidGames podcast. Okay, hi, welcome. We're doing a really cool episode that we were like, hey, I'm going to pitch this idea to you. And both of y'all were like, okay, we can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I showed it. Do you remember that one from the Try Not to Laugh where it's a Scooby-Doo like porn thing, but
that
from the Try Not to Laugh.
No, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's so cringe.
No, yeah.
Nothing happens. It's just, yeah. Would you like a Scooby snack? No. How about 2 Scooby snacks? No. How about I show you my ass? Okay.
Okay.
I just showed that to her not too long ago and busted up laughing at it.
I forgot that was in the Try Not to Laugh.
Hey, it's WB related. Hi, welcome to the Kids WB episode of the podcast.
The Kids
Yeah.
WB.
So, basically how this is going to work is instead of just recalling memories directly off of the top of our head, it'll come to us naturally as I go down the list. So I've got a list here. I just pulled it up on Wikipedia. We're going to go through all the blocks and whatnot.
Good old Wikipedia.
And we're just going to go through and see, just list off some shows, talk about what we've seen and what sounds fucking weird. And then we'll just kind of go from there. So if I can find... Here we go. I think this should be... This is not in order, though. Where's the... Oh, I should have done this before we started. Where's the in
That's what I
order
thought you were
shit?
gonna do.
Well, I was trying, but... Okay. Hold on. This is spoilers. Program list. Let's try that. Maybe? Or is this general? Oh, it's general. Wait. Ugh.
Is there not like a list by year?
I'm trying to find that. Program, no. Saturday morning cartoon. We do. Oh, the Pillowhead Hour. I remember that. Okay. hold
Pillowhead
on.
Hour.
Succeeding Blocks, CW4 Kids, Toon's Eye, Vortex. Oh, we'll be getting to that shit.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, your pretty little head. We'll be getting to that. Okay. Here we go.
Can you just like
I got
type
it.
in?
I got
Okay.
list of programs broadcast by Kids WB. Here we go. So this is, yeah, pretty much in order. Okay, we're just going to go down the list. So we'll be stopping, like you can stop us as I go through. I'm just going to start listing them off and we'll see what we've seen, haven't seen, what we remember from.
Are we not gonna like talk about like, you know, just like our histories watching it first, just like to quickly like sum it up? Or...
Yeah, well then you go ahead and start.
Okay. Well, of every channel or programming block or whatever, like, you know, Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon or stuff, like I think Kids WB was probably like the biggest part of my childhood because it was like every Saturday.
Yeah.
Like that's what I remember watching like every Saturday morning. Of course, like for afternoon stuff, I think they also had Kids WB was also doing something in the afternoon because I remember coming home from school sometimes and like also watching like Jackie Chan Adventures on Kids WB, and it was like 3:00 or something. I remember that being a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly afternoons for me were like Toonami, but yeah, this was like mostly mornings, and like Saturday mornings was Kids WB. That was just, yeah, it was just a really big part of my childhood. I remember getting up early. That's when I used to get up early.
Yeah, exactly. For us, well, Vic, you can speak for yourself. For myself, yeah, I would always anticipate Kids WB on Saturday mornings specifically because I can't remember if it did air for us any other time in the day, in the week. So I just remember it exclusively on Saturday mornings. and there were my very specific shows that I would watch. But I'm not sure I've ever watched a full show from beginning to end as the episodes were coming out, like new episodes.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that never happened for me either.
but I've caught the end of a lot. I caught the end of Batman, the Batman. I caught the end of Yu-Gi-Oh. I caught the end of Lunatics Unleashed. There were, and we'll be getting to those as we go along. Are prominent, are shows that we know, that we love, whether all three of us have watched them, whether it's just me and Vic, whether it's just Miharu, whether it's me and Miharu. We'll be getting into those and just sharing memories and stuff. But I remember, even because how we just found out that Kids WB had a logo in the late 90s, I didn't even know that it went as far back as the late 90s, because the late 90s, not only was I like still barely a toddler, but I remember watching One Saturday Morning on Disney. And that predates Disney Channel, I think. So
Yeah. I can't really recall that myself. I didn't have Disney Channel when I was a kid, so I can't recall what I was watching, like, at least back then. It must have been like late 90s. I'm gonna say Cartoon Network was my thing.
Okay.
That's pretty much what I remember.
I also want to take this time to clarify that we don't to this day have cable. So certain, like Nickelodeon, I think Cartoon Network too, just a lot of those types of
a lot of very popular channels that you hear about, we didn't have those because we didn't have cable. So we didn't grow up with like
there
watching.
There were some things like Disney Channel was on Channel 30, because for us ABC and all that, well, later ABC, being owned by Disney, that was Channel 30 for us.
Yeah.
So Disney Channel did come on there, but there wasn't really anything that I remember ever watching.
So we basically had like the opposite experience, because like you had the because there was like cable and like satellite, right? That was the other thing.
Yeah.
I think that was the other thing. And like I remember Disney Channel was like the satellite one, and like that's what we didn't have. So if you had that, then like we basically had like the opposite experience. Like you had Disney Channel, and then I had all the ones that you don't have, or that you didn't have. Yeah.
I was always jealous of people that would grow up with those, because it's like, shit, I wish I could have grown up with saying like, oh yeah, I watch Cartoon Network, I watch Nickelodeon, I watch this and that.
Yeah, I know. Like our exposure to SpongeBob was through VHS tapes and DVDs, not through Nickelodeon.
I actually kind of remember when we first got the season 1 DVD box.
Oh, I remember when we first got into SpongeBob. That's a whole other story. We could do a SpongeBob for the podcast sometime down in the future. But I remember the exact moment when I was like, that's a cool show. And then we rented a VHS of it, like, right then and there. Like, after.
I didn't like SpongeBob as a kid. That was weird. Like, that's a completely different story.
That's interesting. I remember we had, like, there was... I don't know if we had Jetix. We did get a Jetix DVD, because it had, like, Yin Yang Yo, Jackie Chan Adventures, stuff like that on it. I want to say Jackie Chan Adventures was on Jetix. I want to say that's a thing. But I can't remember.
I think
because it was also on here too, on Kids WB. But also there was Foxbox, and when the merger happened, all those Foxbox shows like Ultimate Muscle, TMNT, Kirby Right Back At Ya, they all came to Kids WB. So I kind of caught them on Foxbox, but I mainly caught all of them on Kids WB once all of them all converged onto one another, into one central hotspot. But okay, so starting off the list, going from like the 90s into the 2000s, we've got Animaniacs, which I didn't watch. It was not really on, but it says last aired February 22nd of 2000, so I definitely didn't catch it on TV. I know it was on Netflix for a while, and there's a new show on Hulu or whatever, but we're not going to do a play-by-play for every single one, but I'll just start kind of going down. You guys can stop me whenever.
I watched a bit of Animaniacs. It would just like come on. Like it was that and Pinky the Brain.
Yeah.
It would just kind of like be on, and I would like be like, okay, and I'd like sit down and watch it. I didn't really like understand what I was watching. I just like, because that was, when did that start again? It's like
it started airing in 95.
95. Yeah, that's so that was late 90s a little bit. It's kind of before I can really remember, but I just remember just kind of like watching it when it was on, not really caring one way or another.
Uh-huh. Yeah, oh Lord, WB with Looney Tunes properties. Oh, there were so many shows. I'm looking at some right here. The Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, Bugs and Daffy, the Daffy Duck Show. I think Taz had his own show at one point.
Yeah.
Then there was Tiny Toons, Looney Tunes Babies or whatever, or Looney Babies.
Looney Babies.
Yeah, there's so many that I've never seen them really. I've seen the clips or snippets or whatever's, but like never.
I've seen
episodes.
bits because I remember them being on, but I wasn't really watching.
Mm-hmm. Like if like your channel surfing, you just kind of like, oh, there's that.
Yeah.
Picking the Brain, Freakazoid, which I've heard good things about. I've never seen it.
I've watched Freakazoid. I used to watch that. The Cobra Queen was my favorite. She was so cool.
I just remember that. I remember watching compilations people would make on YouTube of like dirty jokes in kids shows, and the one I remember from Freakazoid is you can still be married. You can be married and still eat a lot of meat, and the cop's like, I didn't know that. So,
oh my god.
Let's see. Superman the animated series. That one. A lot of DC heads are super fond of that, and the Batman animated series as well. Just seen clips. The character designs are pretty cool, I guess. That's about all I know about it, though. Let's see. Road Rovers. Don't know that. Wanehead.
I know of Road Rovers. It's a furry show. It's got anthro dogs in it.
Okay. Let's see. The New Batman Adventures. The New Batman Superman Adventures. Holy crap. Hysteria. Batman Beyond, which I've heard was pretty good. Let's see. What's the Big Cartoony Show? I don't know what that is.
I have no idea what that is.
Detention, I think is
There's probably a lot of shows on here that like I just do not even know that existed.
I have no idea what this is. Detention? I don't know what
Detention
that is.
sounds so familiar, but I don't think I ever watched it.
Recess.
Yeah, the sequel to Recess.
Hey, Recess was on one Saturday morning.
It was.
I remember that. I used to watch Recess all the time. I actually really liked that show. That unlocks a really strange memory from my brain where when I was in what grade? Probably like second or whatever, whenever the show was still on. My mom had bought me some new like school clothes, and that included like these like brown pants made out of like that. Oh, what material is that? It's that very like the for some reason, I don't know if this is even the correct term, the descriptor for this material that keeps jumping out at me is corduroy, but I don't think that's what it is. But it was some different type of, it wasn't denim, I don't think. It was a different type of material for these pants. But they were brown pants, which I've never really worn before or since in my life.
Was it something like khakis? Or
they weren't khakis, no. But they reminded me for some reason of the big kid from Recess, the big blonde dude. Because he had brown pants, and I was just like, these pants look like his. I don't know, I was a dumb kid. Static Shock, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one. You know, I used to watch a little bit of it. I didn't watch a ton of Static Shock when it was airing on Kids WB. I just watched a little. It was like a few years after that. God, when was it? Like 2015 or so, somewhere around there. I don't remember. I really started watching, and I was like, you know what? I haven't watched that much of Static Shock, and then I watched like the whole thing, and I'm like, this fucking show is so good. It's a really good show.
Are they making a movie? I think right now is what it is, or a new show? Like, what is it? Something with Static Shock's happening now, isn't
I don't remember. Maybe it was something with comics or whatever.
I do remember hearing about it recently, and not this show, like something like getting new for it or something. So I don't know. The Zeta Project, I don't know what that is.
I only caught a couple episodes when it was airing. I remember because I have one episode on my creepy cook-off tape.
Oh yeah.
So that's about the only one I remember. I don't remember anything else from it. I do wanna watch it in future though, because it looks kind of cool.
Mucha Lucha, which I remember we watched quite a bit. I don't remember much from it now, but it was just a really weird, silly show. It's one of the only. It was one of those rare like Mexican Spanish themed ones, so we definitely were like kind of into it. What's your Scooby Doo? Oh, of course.
What's in Scooby Doo coming after you?
But it's
Got
well
some of that mystery. I love that theme song so much, but I never watched the show.
Yeah, the theme song's good. I have a VHS of it, of like a volume, as it were, like a batch full of episodes, and that's pretty much it. And there was one where they were chasing around an alien person. They're like, oh, it's an alien, and of course, a person in a suit, but it was supposed to be an alien. It was weird. Ozzy and Drix, of course, which I thought the show spawned the movie, but it was the other way around.
That's what a lot of people think about Jimmy Neutron as well.
Yeah, I you know what? I probably did I think that about Jimmy Neutron, or did I? No, because because the show obviously went way after the fucking movie came out, and the movie had a lot of early designs for the characters. I think I knew that from back then. But with Ozzy and Drix, I thought, because it being called Osmosis Jones, I'm like, okay, that already sounds way fucking off from Ozzy and Drix. I'm like, this is off that one show. Why is it like titled so differently? I know it's about Ozzy here, but like, what? And like, I watched it and I'm like,
so
this
funny.
is weird.
It's so funny to think that, because so I love Osmosis Jones. I love that movie.
It's a good movie. I do like it a lot too.
Yeah. In fact, the reason why red and black are my favorite colors is because of Thrax. And so my entire bed is red and black because of him. And they still don't have an official figure of him, and I'm just like, what the hell? It's been like 20 years and you don't have anything.
I'm surprised that we haven't watched the movie together yet. We need to.
I know. But yeah, because I love that movie. Yeah, I watched Ozzy and Drix, and it's so funny. If you watch the first episode, they use clips from the movie, and like you could tell the budget is so different. It's so jarring. It's like, oh my god, it doesn't fit at all. Like,
oh man, yeah, I remember you showing me that. Okay, so I guess from this point onward, they said, oh, I guess the guys are doing a podcast on our block, because we're gonna just stick a whole bunch of shit that we can talk about, all one after another. Xiaolin Showdown.
All right. So the thing is, I never watched Xiaolin Showdown when it was airing on Kids WB. I watched it. I can't remember the first time I saw it on TV. Maybe it might have been sometime in the afternoon when they were just like showing an episode. It was already like well into season 3 by then. Because I didn't watch it until like 2005, and it started in 2003. So, but yeah, that's the first time I watched an episode. But my best friend Hari liked it, and so I was like, okay, I'll watch an episode, and I watched it, and I was like, yeah, this is good. And then I think it was also airing on Cartoon Network sometimes, so like I would watch some episodes there. But I mostly saw it. I mostly saw it online. I remember I downloaded a torrent of the entire season 2, and I watched that, and I'm like, this show is so good. And then, like just over the years, I'm like, I'm gonna watch it beginning to end. I've done that a few times. Like, just what was it, like last year or something? I watched the entire show like 3 times over.
Dear Lord,
oh my god!
I'm like, it is so good. It is one of my favorite cartoons in the entire world. It like, I don't know what it is, but it's just so good. It was written incredibly well, and it had some fantastic characters. Like, Jack Spicer is literally the perfect character. I don't know what it is, but like that is an incredible blend of like design and personality in a character. Like, you can't get much better than that.
But yeah, we'd been trying to watch it all in person together, and we got through a great chunk of it, but we're still not done yet, so I do hope we can return to that soon. And we've been watching episodes here and there too, just like over like a call and all that, as we usually do. So with me though, in terms of when I first found it, I don't even remember. I think I just immediately liked it because I don't remember being like, this is a pretty good show. Maybe I'll see the next episode next week or whatever. Like, no, I was just watching it. I don't remember when it happened, but just learning about all the Shingon Wu, the characters, everything, and just, the one arc that used to re-air over and over again was Evil Omi. So, there was that. I remember I remember when Raimundo and Kimiko would like do their narration, well, not narration, but they were like the hosts of Kids WB for a little bit, because they would introduce other shows and whatnot. And then whenever it came to Xiaolin Showdown, whenever that fucking arc of like 3 or so episodes would come up, Raimundo would be like, "Oh, Evil Omi,"
Ooh, Evil Omi! I remember you showing me that.
and it was the funniest shit. So it's little things like that that I remember, and just it's a really solid show. I love it a lot. I love the aesthetic, the characters, everything about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a long time, but I only ever saw bits of it. I've never watched it from beginning to end, and I'm kind of interested in seeing it.
Oh,
Again.
you need to.
Well, you did give me season 1, so we definitely need to watch season 1 together, Vic.
Mm. Yeah, because it's just been so long, and I only barely I remember the intro.
Oh, the intro's so fucking
and
good.
like
It's so good.
a few scenes here and there, and that's really it. That's really where, like, most of the ones that like you guys have seen, for me it's only ever been like maybe a clip here, maybe some bits here and there, maybe the intro itself, like the opening or something. And that's really all that where my memories of those lay. Is like, it's like, oh yeah, I've either seen it like in passing, or I've maybe seen one episode and that's it.
Yeah. It's also one of those shows with like a perfect voice cast.
Oh, yes.
It's like, oh my god, everyone in this is so good.
What was I going to say? There's also the game, which one of the times I went over to your place, I watched you play, and I remember one of the songs from one of the little arenas had a sample from a Spyro song.
It did. It had like Robotica Farms or some shit.
Yeah. Oh, no. It was...
Skelos Badlands.
Skelos Badlands. Yeah. And I was like, hey, that's Spyro.
No.
So that was a really... Oh, what does Jack say? And he was saying it like he was like spamming the move in the game, and they took it from the show, and it's like so like compressed.
I don't remember, because like I remember that when they spam like the Shengon Wu moves, they just kind of like say them over and over. I don't remember. It's not so much that I remember something that Jack says. I remember something that Chase says over and over again. Like when I played it again, it sent me back like 13 years. I was like, Jesus Christ! It like, bam! Like I had PTSD flashbacks of him saying Emperor Scorpion. I was like, Jesus! Oh my god! I remember that. He would say it over and over.
Wasn't there one? There is one that Jack says. I remember you used to quote it. What? Do you remember what that was?
No, I don't.
I'm gonna throw something out, and it might be wrong, but you can correct me, or if it unlocks what it actually is, and you remember it. Didn't he say "Sands of Time" or something like that?
No, that's the way he says it in the show. He says "Sands of Time," and I just love the way he says that.
Did they really not? I thought they lifted that from the show in the game. Is that not there?
Well, I don't know. I just remember the way he says it in the show.
Because I could have sworn he said that in the game, but I couldn't remember. But yeah, so there's way more. We could do a whole episode on a lot of these shows, honestly. But just that's our general thoughts. And then they made a sequel show called Xiaolin Chronicles, and so that happened. But
and we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about Shaolin Chronicles. So after that is the Batman, which I fucking love.
The Batman.
The Batman. What are your
the
thoughts?
Batman is not something that I watched as it was airing. I knew about it. I knew of it. I didn't really start watching it until we started watching it on HBO Max. But I remember I always liked the look of it. It's probably my favorite Batman cartoon because it's very stylized. I really love the art. The voice cast is also very good. And best Penguin, of course.
Yes. Tom Kenny Penguin.
But yeah, it's a really, really good show. But when it comes to Batman, I think I watched Batman the Animated Series, which was on Cartoon Network. a lot. So that was the one that I watched most. Rip Kevin Conroy.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
But it's so funny because with those shows, it's Batman Beyond as well and all that, they weren't on when I found Kids WB. So the only my Batman fix was the Batman.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So and I think for me, my little era of watching these shows and whatever, and reintroducing those types of characters and like reinventing them for a new audience, in the same way how you like He-Man 2000X and all that, because it's a more modern for that time take on the 80s stuff and all of that stuff. And then like now we have like Revelations and She-Ra and all that stuff. But in the way that 2000X kind of did all that stuff with He-Man and modernized it for its time, and it was stylized and it had this like, more again modern look. That was the Batman for me, and a couple other shows here and there too, like with like What's New Scooby Doo was kind of that too. It was more modern for that audience at the time. That's why this, like rock, like alternative rock, or whatever, was like their theme and all that.
Yeah.
So with the Batman, yeah, like I remember watching quite a lot of it. And I don't want to get into too many spoilers because again, yes, we are still watching it. And hopefully at some point we can get back to it. But we've just been watching it like in spurts, which is the best way to kind of watch it too, because it's not necessarily something you have to watch binge season upon season, because it doesn't tend to have overarching storylines. They're more episodic. What villain of the week is Batman going to defeat this time? How's Joker going to come back? How are all the familiars going to come back from the Rogues Gallery?
Yeah.
So, and most Batman shows and even Superman shows, most superhero shows in general are like that. But with the Batman, like, it was just one of the ones that engaged me, and for me, that's for me the best animated Joker. Mark Hamill will always be for everyone else the king, but for me, I think Michael Richardson did a hella good job.
I love Kevin Michael Richardson Joker.
And I love sharing the story. I'll always do it where I first heard about how he got the role through Rob Paulson's podcast, and he told a story about how he was having like a really bad day one day, but then got a call saying, "Hey, they're doing this Batman show and they want you to audition for Joker." And he's like, "That's Hamill though. That's not me. Like, why am I gonna come in and be Joker?" He's like, "No, this is a new iteration. It's for like a whole other audience." And he's like, "Okay, fine." And he wasn't really feeling it, but he said fine anyway. So everything he was kind of feeling from that day, he kind of like let loose into the performance, and that landed him the role. So I mean,
Nice.
I didn't know that actually.
it's a really cool story. But Talking Tunes is what the podcast is called. I was forgetting the name there. That's why I didn't say it earlier. But Rob Paulson's Talking Tunes podcast. I don't know if it's still going nowadays, but when I was in college, I used to listen to it on the bus all the time, going to and from. So definitely, I would say if you can find it like on iTunes or wherever you can get your podcast, check that out. It's a really nice listen. You get it like Kevin Richardson, Billy West, just Richard Horvitz, just everyone that you know who's a voice actor. They're there, and some each episode has a new guest and whatnot. So and the stories they tell and just the way they are with each other, it's so fucking funny. Because it's just friends hanging out, but all the stories they get to swap and everyone, and to even get to hear when they also fanboy over other like older, actors like Peter Cullen or like Frank Welker or somebody else, it's the funniest shit when they like get to fanboy over like, oh my god, I'm like doing this show with you.
Yeah.
It's so funny. After that is Coconut Fred's Fruit Salad Island. And speaking of Rob Paulson, this is probably one of the ones he's either repressed or forgotten about.
Probably doesn't like it. I'm actually going to say that like pretty much from this list, like Xiaolin Showdown onward on this list, that was after my time.
Okay.
So like from like 2003, I wasn't like watching so much. I think like probably 2000, 2001 to 2002 was like my big time when I was watching Kids WB.
Peak Kids WB for you?
Yeah.
Okay, so Coconut Fred, that was one I did watch quite often because, hey, dumb little child just got into SpongeBob. This was a SpongeBob clone. I didn't care. I thought it was pretty funny. It wasn't as creative at times, or even as bright with the jokes and the humor as Coconut as SpongeBob, but Coconut Fred was fairly solid. The art style and the animation were pretty good, and the characters, you could tell who was supposed to be a stand-in for who. I remember the big watermelon guy was supposed to be the Squidward of the show because he would always get just fucking annoyed by Coconut Fred's antics and whatnot. And there were these like identical twin banana characters that were supposed to both be the Patrick of the show because they were both dumb. Just little things like that, it's whatever. But it was funny. I thought it was pretty okay. It didn't last for too long. I think it only went for like a year. It looks like it says here. So, not much left to say about it. But do you remember watching Coconut Fred, Victor?
I remember seeing bits of it. It was actually pretty funny because I've watched stuff from like, I know it's kind of sound a little weird, but I've been watching a lot of Friday Night Funk and stuff, and then one thing I remember seeing Coconut Fred and I was like, oh my god, I have not seen this character in so fucking long. And
oh my god.
I only remember like the setting of it and the character himself. Like that's really all I remember. Like any other character that was in that show, I do not even remember because it's been so long, and like I never heard anything about like hearing about how it was like a clone, and I think there was like some shit going on around it at the time too. Like I didn't even know any of that happens because like it just kind of like came and then immediately went. And
yeah, because being a SpongeBob clone, it was just trying to live up to something else that was doing the formula so well of the character who seemed to some citizens of their world as annoying and unbearable to fucking be around, to others as a good-hearted friend, to others as a kid at heart, whatever the case is.
Mm-hmm.
That was SpongeBob. Coconut Fred tried to do the same thing with a more specific setting or whatever. It had a very similar-ish aesthetic, but because they lived on an island, so they're above water, but it's all still supposed to be tropical and whatnot. And SpongeBob does have that part of the field to it too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just kind of an imitation, at its core, but it was still solid. I'm not gonna say it was like one of the best things I've ever seen, of course, but it did what it wanted to do, and it didn't last as long. That's just the nature of those kinds of things, I guess. But it was funny. And then, speaking of, how people are like, yeah, okay, this is weird, whatever. Lunatics Unleashed, which I've also been trying to watch with Miharu. When you first heard of this concept, what did you think of it?
Okay, so Lunatics is actually something that I do remember, because I remember, like, seeing a promo image, and I thought the characters looked really cool. I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. And I really liked Lexi because, like, of course, she was the girl, the pink one who had the hair over her eye, and I was like, yeah, she's cool. Like, that was me being a dumb teenager.
Honestly, me too.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, that's a cool one. And I remember like this is embarrassing. Like, this is funny, but I remember like writing like a tiny like story thing about it with those characters, me not watching the show and having no idea what the characters were like. Like for some class or whatever, but like you had to like write something. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll take these characters. Like, I know their names at least, and I'll just like write some shit about it.
An action bunny with a sword. His name is Ace.
Yeah,
cool.
So I just like wrote. So I thought that Lexi and Ace were siblings. Which I think I would have preferred. So, but I think I wrote something, and it was like more of a sibling thing for my thing. But like, I mean, it would have been more awkward if they were actually siblings and I shipped them. Like, that would have been more awkward.
It'd been funny if I told you how we were first talking about Lunatics, and if I brought it up to you and you're like, oh yeah, so like the two bunny characters, like, they're related. I'm like, no, and you'd been like, oh. No, but I thought it was oh my god. So I guess if we're getting embarrassing things on the table, it inspired me to draw some Crash comics that kind
Oh,
of
those,
had a
yeah.
similar premise because
Oh, you've told me about those.
I've told you about them. I think I've read some to you before.
Yeah, you have.
Lunatics Unleashed. Let me just start by saying this is a show where it's a superhero show where it's not okay. It's not the Looney Tunes characters. Weirdly enough, they're sort of alluded to be, but they're not. It's actually been said in universe in the show that they're the descendants of the original Looney Tunes because this takes place way off in the future. Um, so I'm just saying
Right.
that to say that for my embarrassing thing, when I did the Crash comics inspired by Lunatics, I did the same thing. So it's not Crash, it's Smash Bandicoot, or whatever. And
Is that like a bootleg?
it probably, I don't fucking know.
It wouldn't surprise me if that was.
But I made these comics. I have them. I'm looking exactly at the little drawer where I keep the folders full of them, like they're in seasons. And I was like slowly introducing characters like villains from Crash as reimagined villains for the comic, and then doing like original villains too, because that's what Lunatics did. They would they're only for 2 seasons. Lunatics. Let's get into that now because we'll just leave that there. I did a bunch of Crash comics. You can't find them anywhere. I didn't scan them or do anything like that. I just drew them. They look real shitty. Whatever. I was like 11. So actually no. Lunatics. Where's that? 2005. 5. I was 10. Anyway, so because I remember too, actually there was a concept like teaser trailer for Lunatics. It wasn't called Lunatics Unleashed. It was just Lunatics, and the designs were way different, and some of the names were different because Ace was originally named Buzz, and Slam, who's Taz, was originally named something else that I'm not remembering at the moment, but some of the names were different. And that was like a whole little like teaser concept commercial that did air on Kids WB. I remember seeing it being like, oh, I think that's where my interest first, was like, oh my god, that was cool. Then when the show itself came out and it's the way it is, I was into it. I didn't care. I think it's so funny. It's been slammed, no pun intended, slam. By Looney Tunes fans and like superhero show fans and even Animaniacs. The Hulu one has taken some jabs specifically at Lunatics Unleashed, and it really, really sucks to see because I hate when because how you hate with Scooby-Doo that now even the creators and whoever
everyone hates Scrappy.
Whoever handles Scrappy, whenever a new show or a new something comes out and then they even remotely think we should probably put a little Scrappy reference here, it's always to attack him. It's always and it's whatever. But with Lunatics nowadays, because I think Teen Titans did it as well. I can't remember. Teen Titans Go anyway. Animaniacs for sure always does it. There's at least 3 or so references, but it's always in like this harsh tone towards it. Like no one remembers that. Those were losers or whatever. And I'm like, ugh, the show was cool. I liked it.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
Like I said, it only went for 2 seasons. The first season had this like very like almost the Batman-esque like darker tone to it with the fucking awesome intro and all that stuff.
Oh my god.
The intro is godlike. I love it. It's so amazing.
I love both of the season's intros, dude. It's so amazing.
Well, here's the funny thing. Yeah, so again, it had its own feel for the first season, but I guess the showrunners did get some feedback being like, okay, this is too dark for Looney Tunes and whatever else. And like, yeah, these original villains are cool, but where's Porky Pig? Where's Marvin the Martian? Where's
all these like other Looney Tunes characters?
So in season 2, they brought all those guys and more in. Gossamer, fucking Pepe Le Pew as a human character, weirdly enough, but whatever. Some of the characters they turned to humans. Pepe was one of them. Foghorn Leghorn was like an announcer in an arena. He was human.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
So like some characters went through like a massive overhaul like that, but you know who they're supposed to be.
Real quick. I do think it's funny that some of the characters have had like some major designs to fit the universe.
Yeah.
I love how Marvin the Martian is just the same.
The same. Yeah.
He's just him.
He has like bigger eyes to fit like the eyes of that art style of characters, but that's about
he's
all that's
just
different.
the same. He's just Marvin the Martian. It's hilarious.
He's Melvin the Martian.
Melvin.
This is his ancestor.
Melvin.
This is his descendant.
Sorry.
He's Melvin. Don't get his name wrong. That makes him very angry. But
Oh my god.
So in season 2, yeah, not only did they bring in a bunch of Looney Tunes characters to be villains or whatever else, but they changed the tone a little bit. Not too much.
Mm-hmm.
It is more comedic than it was still comedic and silly in the first season, but it got a little more so, not to an obnoxious degree, but a little more so, you know, in the second season. But the intro did change. It had a more Looney Tunes, you know, those like circles aesthetic to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
it felt a lot more cartoony.
It was wackier and whatever.
But funny enough, I think it still fits the whole like style of everything. Like kind of like
does
kind of like not so much, but I mean it works. I love it.
Personally, I prefer season 1's intro because that sets the tone more, in my opinion. But it's whatever. I don't mind. I'm not offended by the change or anything. I'm not offended by the show in general, like so many other people are. But that's when I found out Boots Belinda was a real person. I had no clue.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Because he's a villain in the show, and they just call him Boots or Bootsy or something.
They call him Boots.
And he's the...
I think it's just Boots Belinda. That's
no, because Bootsy Collins is the actual guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's what it was.
That's what it was. Also, my favorite villain ever in the show.
Oh, he's great.
I love him.
But he sings
he sings the season 2 intro.
The intro, yeah. Or the theme or whatever you want to call it. But, no, see? We can recall all these memories.
I'll say, for me, it was just the DVDs. I never saw on TV, but it was just the DVDs. And I was like,
I watched it too.
I loved all of the Looney Tunes characters they brought in to, like, give them, like, whether to make them heroes or villains, whatever.
Yeah.
I love the original
Some more
villains.
twists.
Some more twists. Fucking,
don't give away too much, because I still want Miharu to watch it.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, like, oh my god, like, I remember one of them was kind of weird. I was like, okay, but it was still funny. I was like, okay.
Was it I Can, that character? Do you know who that is? Do you remember I Can?
I Can.
When they're like, you can do it. I've got a little motivation can. I can do it.
Oh.
Don't say the character, but is that twist? That one was weird. No, okay.
Well, okay. Not okay. That one I didn't really find weird, but I was like, huh, that's interesting.
No, what's cool about some of those dynamics and whatever. Again, pairing people up, certain characters up and whatnot. I remember there was one episode, where Porky Pig and was it Pigster or Pinkster or something, and Danger Duck, you know, they're together, and I'm like. You know, in that episode, they're talking about how they were orphans, and Daffy was picked before him.
Yeah.
Or Danger Duck was picked before him, and I'm like, that's weird to put them together. But then, I didn't know that Daffy Duck got his start paired with Porky Pig, and they were like the Fool and Straight Man duo. I didn't know that, so I was like, okay, hey, some history right there.
Yeah.
It's just things like that, you know. But some of the original characters were cool too, like Massive.
That was the guy's name?
Yeah, the huge dude who can
Gravity.
Massive.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was thinking about the show since I was thinking about the villains. I was like, what the hell was his name?
There's Weathervane, voiced by Kelly Cuoco.
Yes.
She was awesome. There was it Mastermind? I think the big-headed chick.
Mm-hmm. I believe her name was Mastermind. I remember. Oh my god! I remember there was a guy.
Remember the Ringmaster.
Yeah,
voiced by Tim Curry.
What the fuck
nice.
was the dude's? Do you remember? I don't know if you remember.
Oh, that was the furry episode. We didn't get to that. We didn't get to that one. There was in similar vein to like Teen Titans, where like there's the Titan Animals one.
Oh yeah, it felt very much like that.
It felt like that because they all
Titanimal.
They didn't know that. They didn't title it that, and I wish they did.
I know. I'm like really upset because I always thought it was Titanimal, and then I looked again and I was like, wait, no.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was like, the hell? You had one job.
Do you remember the villain where he would, like, if he touched someone or hugged them,
Siphon.
he would siphon? Okay. I was like, I remember him because he was a really cool.
Who voiced him? Oh, I know. Who voiced Siphon?
Wasn't it Billy West?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember because I remember him. There was also who was
Cypher, not Siphon.
Oh,
Cypher.
Cypher. Oh, okay.
What the fuck was his name? Or the actor? Go ahead. I'll find him.
I'm trying to remember the other.
Oh, Phil Lamar.
Oh, it's Phil Lamar.
That's who it was.
Nice.
Oh god.
There was Cypher. There was a whole episode with Tech and Roadrunner, or what's his Rev, which is supposed to be like the old cartoons. There was Electro J Fudd. There was
yes.
Ophiokus Sam. That one was a funny one. It was so good.
There was this other. I remember fucking
that one bitch, the one who ends up becoming the main villain for the whole thing by season 2. What's his fucking name? Who wants Ace's sword?
Deuce.
Oh my god, I fucking hated that guy. Jesus Christ.
He was kind of obnoxious. I will admit.
Are you thinking Zadavia's brother?
Yes, Optimatus.
Optimatus. Oh my god, he was cool.
I
liked
his
voice. I liked his voice.
I like his voice too. I like
his
his voice,
was so
his
cool.
design. Oh my god.
It had that filter. It had a very like Gull from Jack and Daxter kind of filter to his voice. Oh, he's cool.
Nice.
He's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just.
Do you have any other memories? Because we have to move on. Anything else you want to say or no?
I'll say it's so good.
It's a good show.
I wish it's such an interesting concept. Like whether it worked or
Exactly.
not, it was just an interesting concept, and I wish it at least went for a third season. At least that's all I could ever ask for.
I don't, because the
It makes me
show
sad
itself
too.
seemed like it was canceled, but it didn't end on a cliffhanger. It ended with them
didn't.
saving the galaxy or the universe or some shit.
Yeah,
Because
they defeat Deuce at the end.
yeah, because they were like the heroes of Act Metropolis or whatever, but then they became like the Guardians of the Universe, or not the Guardians of the Galaxy, but the Guardians of the Universe or
Yeah.
whatever. And that was like their main title now, and they could like go to like any like. So that's and if they did a season 3, that'd be the next big step to just go to different planets. And the cool thing too, I'll also say before we move on to another show, is another cool one thing that I did, I think, notice, at least with Planet Blanc, is that some of these other planets you go to are named after some of the original creators. So you got Planet Freeling, Planet Blanc. So like, that was really cool. Nice tribute to Mel Blanc there. Because on that planet you've got oh my god, you have Sir Tweedums or whatever. So that's Tweety, the granny, and Sylvester.
Sylvester, yes.
Darth Vader, Sylvester. He even has the mask and everything.
Yes.
He's been so fucking like completely like his face has been so misfigured that at one point they make a joke where he takes the mask off and shows somebody, but you don't see his face.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it shows like Duck or something, and they freak the fuck out.
Yeah. I remember that.
It's so good. It's so funny.
Oh my god, I love it.
I love Lunatics so much. We gotta watch that again.
I know. I've been wanting to watch some of this stuff on there again, and yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely one of them.
So that's Lunatics. Sorry, that went for too long. Johnny Test. Love that show too.
I watched Johnny Test on Cartoon Network, and I didn't really like. God, I mean, like didn't like watch it. I mean, I did. I liked it because like a lot of people don't like it, but I was like, I think it's harmless. Like it's not. I don't think it's a bad show at all. Like it was fine.
Did people just think it was like annoying or like what?
I don't know. That I guess I'm not actually sure why people don't like it. They never really explain. Like it's always just like the infamous Johnny Test. Like,
yeah,
but
like
why?
Yeah.
Like you never really explain why.
That.
Yeah. So like, I watched a few episodes here and there. Like it was good. I liked it. I like Brain Freezer. He's stupid.
See, the funny thing is that I do really like Johnny Test, but I don't remember very many episodes. Only like some, but not even to the degree where I can just full on talk about them, though I did just now with like Lunatics or the Batman or something. But like I'll say I like season 1's intro. I think to me that's my favorite because the one they went with from season 2 onward is fine, but there was something about the way that just the pace and everything of the first one that I like a lot. It's more familiar to me because when because I didn't even see the change initially when I just one day watched like an episode and it had a new intro, and I was like, whoa, what? Or it was like maybe it wasn't even an episode, maybe it was like a commercial, like coming up next or whatever, and it would just have like the intro as the commercial, and I was like, this is fucking different. What the hell? And I just didn't. I was like, okay. But apparently there was enough interest because it came back, for I think a little bit anyway. I don't know if it's still on now, but do you know anything about that?
Let me see. I don't know anything about that. No. I heard about it, but I didn't actually look into it.
There was like a test pilot episode, and then like from there were like a handful of episodes that went up, not like maybe like less than a year after or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, there is still some interest, I guess. It's Ratchet, James Arnold Taylor.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it for Johnny Test. There's Tom and Jerry Tales, which we watched a bit of. I remember watching a bit of it. I really liked it.
I have never even heard of that.
I mean, it's just another in a long iteration of just the shows that have them just doing their wacky shit. It was, again, for not that I can't necessarily say it was modernized, but it just had a modern look to it for its time. For that specific audience, for kids like me watching. I still remember its intro, and it was a decent show. I liked it a lot.
Did you hear about the new Tom and Jerry cartoon in Japan?
No.
Yeah, they're all like really cute and can transform into like little candies or whatever. I don't know why.
What the hell?
Like,
What?
I don't know. Listen, it's like a weird anime, but like they look really chibi and cute, and I'm like, oh.
Oh wow, that sounds like a very Japan thing for them to do. Transform into candies. Yeah. I can foresee a lot of void in the future. But in any case, with Tom and Jerry Tales, the only one episode I remember was there was one where they were superheroes, or like they lived in a little superhero base, and they with all these heroes would come in, and they had these power rings, so they get a hold of some of the rings, and they can transform into like get the powers of those heroes, and they're like all just chasing each other around doing shit. So there was that episode. It's just like these generic kind of things I could kind of talk about, but it's nothing, It was cool though, it wasn't bad.
I think it's really funny. I just thought.
At least they didn't talk or anything.
It feels really funny to me that the more I think when I hear certain names of like cartoons and stuff, there were some instances where if I've heard of it, it was never because of like a show. It was probably like maybe like a clip from something or like a movie from there. So like I remember when I think Tom and Jerry for me, I remember this movie that we got at some point. I don't even remember when we got it, but it was I think it was called like Tom and Jerry and the Magic Ring or something.
I remember seeing the commercials for that on other VHS tapes.
It was
and then eventually we did rent it.
It was just all about like how this wizard guy had like this ring and whatnot.
I remember that.
And like they went all about in the city. And I remember seeing what was the black cat's name?
I forget, but I know who you're talking about.
I forget. He was in there too, and like they were doing their wacky antics and stuff like that, and like
there were a bunch of different movies. There was like a Sherlock Holmes one. There was the Willy Wonka one.
There was like some like Winter Wonderland one.
There were a bunch of different ones.
I've never seen a commercial for that one, but
there's also the live action CGI one, which I remember hearing about from a long time ago. Them saying they wanted to do it like back in like the 2010s, like the early to mid 2010s. Then it never came out, so I was like, okay, I guess they forgot about it. Nope, came out like 2 or 3 years ago, and it was okay. Nostalgia Critic reviewed it, so whatever. I haven't seen it yet though.
You just reminded me of something that I think Hari told me a long time ago.
What will that be?
Because you just reminded me of the magic ring. I've never seen it, but I think Hari has, and I think she talked about it. Okay. Who was the wizard? Chip. Yeah, I think she said something about like she she liked the wizard or something, because is the wizard like a kid or something?
I think so.
Probably.
I don't know. I don't remember if they ever showed his face. I don't think so. I think it was just like a pair of eyeballs and like shrouded in darkness or something like that. Because I think he wore a hood.
But does he have like kind of like a youthful voice?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, Hari did say that.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, he always shrouds his face.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you remember that, Victor.
Because it's the first picture
Yeah,
right
yeah.
there. Yeah.
I'm surprised you remembered his voice because I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, I don't remember what it sounds like, but I remember it was youthful.
I think it was younger, yeah.
He was like he sounded like a teenager kid, kind of like.
Yeah, I was like, obviously, I think Hari told me that she likes the wizards, and I was like, yeah, it's because he sounded like he sounded like a kid. And I'm sorry to call her out again about this stuff, but for some reason she likes characters who like sound youthful like that.
I mean, they do have their fan base, I think. So it's nothing to be like embarrassed about.
No, yeah. But I just remember like that like that's kind of like my experience with certain cartoons like that, where it's either a movie or it's something else, and not like a show that was popular. But
there's also everyone's favorite, Shaggy and Scooby Doo Get a Clue.
Never saw it. Never touched it.
I'm gonna sing this song all day long. There's never in your foot is in the foot. Shaggy and Scooby Doo get a clue.
I was like, this song has no beat. Like it was like
That's
it
how
was
the
kind of
theme
all
song
over the
goes.
place. It was like I'm like, what?
Because not too long ago for Halloween stuffs, we were watching a video of like the history of all the intros for the different Scooby-Doo shows, and it comes to that one, you're like, the fuck? And I'm like, hey, because I knew it.
I was like really taken aback.
It was weird. I completely fucking forgot that Scott Menville did the voice of Shaggy, because it's just Robin, but trying to be Shaggy. It was weird.
Isn't that just Scott Menville in general?
But Scott Menville in general.
Scott Menville
Robin.
is Robin.
Yeah, he's just Robin.
Yeah, because what else was he in? What was he in that we watched, Victor? Where I think it was you and me. We watched something, and he was like 3 different characters. What was that? It wasn't that long ago.
Oh,
and every time he popped up, we're like, "Hi, Scott." Hi, Scott.
Yeah, there is 3 different characters, but they all sounded the same.
I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about, but
what
I'm
was
forgetting.
that? I can't remember.
Forgetting. It's been a while.
But it was really funny.
But I remember we were like, huh, that's
It's just
that's
there
him.
he is. It's Robin. Oh, that's gonna bug me. But anyway.
Yeah, it's gonna bug me too.
So
I know what you're talking about. I remember, but I remember, but I don't.
it had a very simplistic art style. Like they were trying to do a thing where it was like, it's got the bold outlines and very simplistic like shading and stuff for the colors and whatnot. So it looks kind of flat in general. It's sort of like they got like the little dotted eyes, so it's kind of like the old cartoons, but not really because it's not going, full on that style. It was a bizarre show. I don't remember it too well, but I remember liking it when I was a kid. Because most things Scooby-Doo related, I liked. So not much to say about that one. Legion of Superheroes was a really good show.
What is that show?
So it's a DC thing. I showed you Brainiac 5 and you said you liked the way he looked.
Oh, that's right. I had a toy of him once.
Yeah.
I got it from like Burger King or some shit.
It was a really cool show. I remember watching it because the start of the show was, I don't know if he was Connor Kent, but it was Superboy, and he was the newest addition, or maybe it was Clark. Maybe it was Clark, and it was like, see, the only teenage Clark Kent I know of is from Smallville, and that's a whole ass other thing. But the next time they try to do, DC in any capacity, try to do like a teenage, I think it was Clark. It was here in Legion of Superheroes, and he didn't really know how to be Superman yet. All he knew was he had his powers, and like his suit looked all. It was kind of like a Hercules, like a Disney Hercules situation, where he was all scrawny looking at first. He didn't fit into the suit. He had to learn how to control his powers. But then, like later on, within like not too deep into season 1, he's all buff and he's Superman. He's got the suit and everything. Yeah, you had, what was that? There was the big fat guy who was the bouncing boy or whatever. There was that guy.
Oh my
The triplets who become the twins, and that was really sad. And then There was
You just reminded me
Saturn
that
Girl, and some of these characters actually did make an appearance in Smallville. The Legion were in a few episodes in Smallville because it was Saturn Girl, it was Lightning Lad, and the other fucking guy. What's his name? I see his face from Smallville, but I'm forgetting. I see him from Legion, but I'm forgetting his name. It was like Cosmic Kid or some shit. I fucking don't know. I don't remember.
I kind of remember Lightning Lad.
It was a cool show. And I remember in season 3 was like the darker kind of season because there was like a small time skip, so everyone looks a little bit older and different. It was solid. I liked it a lot. That's one I think we should watch together too, Aaron. It's a pretty good show.
Yeah, I just looked up Brainiac 5 right now because I was like, oh yeah, I remember that he was kind of cute. He's cute.
He's the boy. Yeah, because he comes from the lineage of Brainiac. Brainiac's, an ultimate Superman villain, so he has to kind of wrestle within, like, the dark thoughts or whatever. So he's just one of those, like, troubled characters. Well, sort of. He is still very lighthearted. He's still very lighthearted, but there are some episodes where, like, he kind of short circuits or does whatever because he's, like a cyborg robot dude. So, it was a solid show. I remember liking it a lot. And I think my mom's got all 3 seasons on DVD. So,
yeah, I remember it mostly on DVD.
Yeah. It was a really cool show. I liked it. Let's see. Is there anything else here? Oh, there are a couple things here we've got left to talk about. Let's see. There's so much more. Let's see. Let's just kind of rapid fire. We've got I have no idea what the Nightmare Room is. Do you know what that is?
I actually do know what that is. I never watched it, but that was I remember that being like a thing that they were like kind of hyping up because it was that's R.L. Stine, right? So
is it? Let me see here. Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So they were kind of hyping that up. That was like along the lines of like one of those Are You Afraid of the Dark kind of things, I guess.
I see.
Which Are You Afraid of the Dark is a very good show. I'm so sad I didn't watch any for Halloween.
Yeah, we talked about watching the Goosebumps movies with Jack Black and we didn't do that either.
I know we didn't do that. God, I love Slappy in the first movie.
We're gonna watch that. Maybe next year, maybe even for not Halloween. We'll have to just watch it. Samurai Jack. I know you really like Samurai Jack.
I do like Samurai Jack. I watched it on Cartoon Network. It's a very, very good show. The new stuff that was on Adult Swim, I didn't like very much because they're just like, yeah, it's dark and gritty, and I'm like, this is not what I want though. Like, I didn't ask for that. Like,
shaggy hair Samurai Jack.
Like the original show was already very like, as my dad describes it, very intense. He said it was one of the most intense cartoons he's ever seen. And it had a lot of really good episodes. Like Jack of the Zombies is my favorite one because it's like it's so creepy and like weird. There was the haunted house one and the one where Aku tells children like stories and stuff, and that shit's so funny.
Where does Extra Thick come from? I don't remember because that's a meme, of course. But do you remember where that moment comes from?
Extra Thick. Oh,
he says
yeah.
that, doesn't he?
No, he actually does say that. I forgot the context, but he does say extra thick.
It sounds like he's like ordering like a pizza or something, or
it's something like that.
But everyone uses it in the terms of like, oh, that girl's thick, like extra thick, like.
Yeah.
All I know from Samurai Jack is that the fucking intro slaps because he showed it to me, and I'm like, oh my god, like I immediately was like,
oh yeah,
fuck.
Yeah, definitely.
Got Powerpuff Girls, which I didn't really watch too much, but I know of it, of course.
I think I might have watched Powerpuff Girls here and there a little bit, like when it was on.
The literal only episode I remember us watching, we used to have this Cartoon Network, the Halloween DVD from a bunch of different things like Johnny Bravo, Courage, Powerpuff Girls, Conan Kids Next Door, Ed and Eddie. So there was like a Halloween special on there from Powerpuff Girls. Billy and Mandy as well.
Billy and Mandy, yeah.
It was
so
the mole one, I think.
This is all stuff from Cartoon Network, yeah. So that's where I watched it. Don't even talk to me about Powerpuff Girls. That's one of my favorites. That shit was my childhood. I had so much Powerpuff Girls stuff. I have a magazine that like I love so much. It is like the best thing ever. I have Powerpuff Girls comics. I have these little keychain things. I used to have shoes. I used to have underwear. Fuck off.
That's how you know you've made it as a true super fan. Yo, my undies got Buttercup on them.
It's true. I had them. I did, and they were cool. They were cool.
Truly the sign of a super fan.
Yeah, again, we didn't. I know some of the characters, but I've never really watched it, and there were different iterations. The 2016 one, no one really liked because they modernized it too much with the twerking and whatnot. Plus, there was like
I think
a
they also have a
creeper-
plate and a bowl.
A plate and a bowl. Nice.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like a creeper writer on the show who tried to do a self-insert or something at one point?
Yeah, definitely.
So that happened. It hasn't really been too good for the Powerpuff Girls as of recent because there's that weird ass movie that they want to do or show or something where they're all like it's mature and they're all adults or whatever and it's weird. I have no idea.
Yeah, it was like live action CW show or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. But speaking of, there was Codename Kids Next Door. So
Candy was very big for me and Hari. We both liked that show very much. God, there's not much to like really say about it. I liked it. It was really funny. I watched a lot of it. I gotta watch the Christmas episode this year because I don't think I've watched it in a while. I don't even think I watched it last year, but I love that one.
nice.
My favorite villain has to be Nightbrace, voiced by Tom Kenny. I fucking love that guy.
Yeah, I don't know any of the villains.
I
I don't know much about the show. Like I said, I don't know if you've shown me a full episode ever, but the only full episode I can recall is that Halloween one because they were all trying to like who can get the most candy before Halloween ends or whatever, and then hijinks ensue, of course. So that's all I remember.
Yeah, that's all where like my knowledge of it is. Besides maybe like a few clips here and there, and people talking about like the ending and stuff like that of like the ending of the show and all that.
But there was a thing I remember a long time ago. They teased they wanted to do a I don't know if it was a reboot, but it was essentially like a revival. I don't know if it ever happened though.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Like the original creators tried to do like a little teaser thingy or something, like a promo teaser, but it never really, I don't think,
I don't remember that.
resulted in an actual comeback.
Honestly, I think that did happen, but yeah, nothing ever came out of it, from what I can recall.
Next up is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, which I know you do like as well.
Yes, I love Foster's. Foster's is great. Also, my favorite episode of that is the Halloween episode. Well, I think there were a couple. I'm not actually sure. But it was called Blue. That is my favorite episode. It's really funny. Yeah, I watched that. I watched that show a lot. It was really good.
What was the gentleman bit? Can you remind me about that?
Oh no, that's okay. The shit that I quote to this day that I love so much is the episode Frankie My Dear, where they're like because like it seems like they all want to like date Frankie because they all see her as hot, and so the Orlando Blue bit where he like dresses up like as a gentleman shit, and he's like it's the way he says "milady."
Oh, milady, that's what it was.
And like every time I see "milady" written out, that's how I hear it in my head. I hear it the way that the way that Blue says it.
I thought you said gentleman, not milady. That's what it was.
Milady.
I'm glad, even though I said the completely wrong thing, that you still knew what I was trying to bring up.
Oh, because he was dressed up as a gentleman.
As a
I thought
gentleman,
that's what you meant.
Okay. I thought you said it. I couldn't remember what he said, but yeah, that's because we found you said it was hard to find the clip on YouTube, but then we ended up finding it somewhere, so I could hear it, and it was really funny. Yeah, in terms of again, it was one of those that was just on one day, and then I found it and I watched it, and I don't remember any specific episodes. I just remember thinking it was funny because I didn't catch it too often. It wasn't one of those ones I tuned in regularly to watch. It was a once in a while when it was on, and I didn't want to turn off the TV. I would watch it, or I'd have it on in the background. But I remember it being pretty funny. I remember the intro has like a ragtime piano in there in the little tune.
Yeah.
So it was solid. I liked it. Oh, here we go. Teen Titans. Oh boy.
I love Teen Titans. It's so good.
Oh, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, it's really good.
I watched that shit when it premiered, and then I don't think I watched it like all the way to the end, but I did eventually see most of it. There are probably episodes from the last season that I haven't seen, but I did see the last episode.
That's one I
But I
remember.
did see most seasons.
I remember we started watching it. It's definitely one I think we should start picking back up. Yeah, watch from beginning to end. I would definitely be on board for continuing that and seeing it through.
But it has fantastic characters. I have some Teen Titans Go comics, which, by the way, if anyone doesn't know, Teen Titans Go was originally the name of the comics for the Teen Titans series, the original series, and then Teen Titans Go, the cartoon, was that completely different thing that most people don't like.
I actually didn't know that either.
Also, though, Teen Titans Go spawned from a bunch of little mini like webisodes or whatever that they did after Teen Titans, and they were all chibi-ified. And those, I think, were called New Teen Titans.
Yeah.
And then from there, that was kind of a pitch to kind of do a different show featuring that same iteration, but doing different things, and it became Teen Titans Go. Even though people wanted to see a season 6, but the show got canceled, they went with this, and people thought it was a revival, but it wasn't. It was a whole new show, more comedic, more SpongeBob-like, aimed toward kids, and no one likes it. Which sucks, because it's actually pretty good. And the movie, too, which I own on DVD, I thought it was pretty fucking funny.
I've only watched a couple episodes. Like, I thought it was harmless.
It's harmless. See, I got into the show, into Go, we'll get into Teen Titans proper in a minute, but Go, I watched like a funny compilation, like best of or funniest moments of season 1 or whatever, and that made me go like, oh my god, this is fucking funny. Like, just like the moment to moment, it felt like SpongeBob in the sense that like any little thing can happen, or someone could have like a just very specific overreaction or something, and it can be like the funniest shit. And I like that kind of stuff. It's not something that, is necessarily clever or, witty, but sometimes they did have witty things. So sometimes they also did kind of just do like references for the sake of references. And I don't mean pop culture. I mean more so like just culture. Like Cyborg trying to explain to everyone what a VHS tape is, or a VHS player. How you can't program the clock so it just blinks 12. Just shit like that. Like, yes, as a 90s kid or older, you understand it, but it doesn't really fit in anywhere to what they're doing. He just kind of says it to say it. Like, as a, get this? Who remembers this? Like, so it's whatever.
Yeah.
But,
it's like, who remembers this, all you old people out there?
I remember when the Teen Titans Go movie was going to premiere theatrically, Tara Strong and Graves Types were really heavily implying, like, hey, stick around for the ending because we might have a little something. And there was a teaser, there was an after credit scene where it was the Titans in their original show iteration, like designs, and they were trying to like get a message out to the audience that they were still around or whatever. So people were like, "Fuck, season 6 finally!" And then it was a crossover show or movie.
It was a crossover movie.
A crossover movie. It was Teen Titans
Speaking
versus
of-
Teen Titans Go.
Speaking of Teen Titans movies, you still have not seen Trouble in Tokyo, have you?
I haven't. No, we need to watch that.
Yeah, we really do. It's a good movie.
I just remember the bit from Teen Titans Go that they made fun of.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Because Silky was hopping into everyone's dreams, or we got to see everyone's dreams because Silky would like hop over and sleep with other Titans,
just
and
go
you'd see
and
the dreams.
give her
And
rooms.
Robin's was a dubbed over the scene where they kiss at the end.
Oh my god.
And they're like, "Oh my god, Robin and Starfire finally kiss," and they're all telling everybody.
Yeah.
It's all just clips from the show and from the movie, but dubbed over.
Yeah.
It's the stupidest, funniest shit. But Teen Titans itself, the main show, I just found, again, it was just on one day, and I was like, oh, I'm into this. Crush on Starfire, I'll say that. She's awesome. And,
Yeah.
so, they're just, but all the characters were cool, and they all had their time to shine. It's almost, too, like, each season was kind of themed after somebody, because, like, I remember Beast Boy gets a lot of attention in season 5. Raven gets a lot of time in season 4, especially because the 4 finale is like a 3-parter or something with her.
Oh yeah, that's right.
With her and Trigon.
I think I remember that one. Which season has Birthmark? That's my favorite episode.
That's either 3 or 4, I think. Is that the one where she's got all the markings on her?
Yeah.
I want to say that's either 3 or 4. Because Slade comes back for that one. I remember. So many good episodes. The one where Robin goes up to train. The one where he's like hallucinating Slade and he's getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was fucking intense. There's so many good episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff,
so
and
good.
like oh my god, these villains, love the villains. Like this house, I'm a huge fan. Blackfire and Mad Mod.
Mad Mod.
Fuck yes.
I love Mad Mod. He's hilarious.
Oh Jesus Christ.
Those episodes, but oh my god.
So okay, I don't mean to bring up some other stuff too, but when the Queen passed, people started going, oh, so there was a scene in Teen Titans Go, and there's an episode where Robin fights the Queen.
Oh yeah.
And it's like really weird, but all the shit she's doing and why she's doing it and what she's saying, I'm like, this is Mad Mod. Where's Mad Mod? He's the one that should be doing this shit, not her. Like, what's happening here? I'm not saying it was like wrong or anything. I'm just like, this is a Mad Mod thing to do. How come they use the Queen? It was more of like an inquisitive comment rather than
it was like why they do this instead of this.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on
it's
here?
Weird.
Yeah.
But Mad Mod is just British, UK incarnate. Every time he's on an episode and it's all about him, shit's gonna get weird, abstract, and very British.
And very British.
Yeah.
I
love it.
Who was the villain that Tom Kenny played in that? He was the ringmaster.
Oh,
guy,
no, he was
right?
Mumbo Jumbo.
Mumbo Jumbo. That's it, yeah.
He was good at it, Tim. He's funny.
Yeah, I like him too.
He was a very Joker-esque type of character, but with like nothing but magic and all that. That leads into
also
the Titanimals. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lightning and Thunder.
Lightning's really cute.
Yeah, so many fucking good characters. So many
I love what was it? The Hive villains.
Oh yeah.
Which yes, I love Jinx.
Jinx is cool.
Jinx is awesome.
Jinx is cool. I like her.
Oh, what's the little fucking critter's name? What's that little stupid boy?
Stupid
Gizmo?
boy.
Gizmo. Fucking Gizmo. Oh my god, I want to strangle him.
Just want to yeet him.
Yeah, I want to yeet him out of this world. Fucking Gizmo. I like how Cyborg and him have it out because they're all about tech and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's Mammoth. I was like, what's his name? Is John DiMaggio? Yeah, Mammoth.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all really cool. There's Titans West with what was her name? Was the bee
Bumblebee?
Bumblebee. We got
yeah, she's cool.
Mossy Menos. They were funny. Aqualad, right?
Yeah, Aqualad.
Yeah, was part of that.
I like Hotspot. Hotspot's cool.
Hotspot, yeah.
Hotspot.
Argent, I think was her name. She only showed up.
Oh yeah, the British chick.
Fucking 3 seconds, but she was really cute and I liked her. When I first saw her in season 5, I was like, "Who is that?"
Who was Robin's rival in that?
Speedy.
Speedy, yeah, I remember him.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even talk about Red X. God, I love Red X.
Oh my god! And the whole question of who is he, because
yeah,
he
exactly.
just takes an identity of his own after like Robin was the first one.
Yeah.
It's like the other Robin or some shit like that.
Something like that.
What is it?
Theories heavily suggested, and the show tried to like kind of hint at. I think. I don't even remember, but that was always one of those.
It just kind of became a running joke too, of like
it was an unanswered question. Yeah, like who is he?
Right. Yeah.
And I'm sure Titans Go probably made fun of it.
Oh, I'm for sure. Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do a Scooby-Doo style. Let's see who the villain is, and they just keep pulling like mask after mask after mask after mask. They never find out.
I remember an episode from there. It was it the Master of Games or something?
Oh yeah,
and they're
that
all
one.
fighting each other. I love that episode. I love that villain
cool.
too because he was kind of like Cypher a bit, where like he took like
the powers of the losers.
He would have like something where like his design changed to match the powers he took from the people.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah, the ending was really weird. If we'll touch on that just for like 2 seconds. The ending, the last 2 episodes were something to be really, were something to behold because the second to last episode felt like the actual series finale that they were aiming towards, because the whole rest of the season is the Titans. It was Titans, the Teen Titans, Titans West, and they're all trying. It's them, and then they're all outsourcing all of their like little communicators to other heroes like Argent, like that wrestler chick too, and all of them, and just whoever else they could find that was outward and out there, bring them all in because they have to fight Brain and all his guys. And then you get that giant fight because Brain goes and they've got Madame Rouge, who's fucking crazy. She goes around.
Speak and spell.
Your brain fucking speak and spell. Because they go around and they sabotage from the inside and all that, and then they're like, how did they get the one up on us? And they gave the communicator to Madame Rouge, who they thought was somebody else, and that helped Brain to kind of like see where everyone was, so they can go and like strategically take them out, bring them in, freeze them. They had a whole collection of all the heroes, and then by the time Beast Boy comes and has his guys come in, then they get to rescue everyone, and then it's just a fucking brawl with like this awesome like movie-esque score version of the Teen Titans theme as they're fighting, and I'm like, this is like the end game for the mid 2000s. This is amazing.
Yeah. Also, I can't talk about Teen Titans without bringing up possibly one of the saddest cartoon moments I've ever seen in my entire life. Is when they find out about Terra.
Terra,
And
Terra in general is a tragic character.
Yeah, well, Terra in general, but it's the end. It's the end of that specific episode when Beast Boy as a dog is curled around the little
he's
heart.
Whimpering.
That is the saddest shit I've ever seen.
It is. No, I definitely got misty-eyed.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I definitely got misty-eyed when that happened. Because you don't see him; they pan away at the very end, and you just see the hall and the door, his room, and you just hear the whimper. I'm like, oh, come on, man.
That's
really?
the worst.
Yeah. Just all of that. But that leads into, what the actual series finale, where Terra's alive, but she doesn't have her memory, or does she? And we were just talking about this. Was it you and me, Victor, or was it you and me, Miharu? We were talking about this literally like a few days ago.
Yeah, we were talking. No, we were talking about the last episode like the other day.
Yeah, because I was saying how I took it to mean at the very end how she kind of like still leaves. She spends the whole episode like, I'm not who you're talking about. I'm just a normal girl or whatever. And then I forget what she says, but she does say something to him at the very end. It's like her last words to him before she like leaves for class. And it seemed like they were alluding, no, she has her memories, she knows what happened, but this was her way of, because she like felt like she betrayed everyone. And even at the end, because there was also that episode, I think it was the one where she ended up ultimately giving her life to rescue, to save Beast Boy and all them, where she chose her path, and they tried to, go and they faced her once to try and snap her out of it, and she beat them all, and she like beat the crap out of them basically. So when they all regrouped, they're like, we tried it your way, Beast Boy, now we gotta try it our way. And there's a cold open where they're like doing like voiceover of like, we tried to, reason with her. She didn't want it. We need to like, whatever. And how they said it, like, this time there's no holding back. And when they all team up to go after her, they're going after her as, and then I think they were like, from this point onward, she's just another villain or something. And all of that nonsense. So with all of that she felt from betraying them and all that stuff and feeling awful for it, but not being able to necessarily, she can't just go up and talk to them. I think that's what she feels anyway, So, and saying whatever it was that she said to him was more of like, this is just how it has to be, just let it go, kind of in a way, But it was a very weird episode too, because they gave like the Titans, the rest of the guys, nothing else to do besides follow this really weird shape-shifting villain that was actually kind of cool, but it had no name, no motivation for anything. It was just randomly attacking buildings and shit.
Oh my god.
It had a really cool concept. It was like this really weird abstract blob creature, but it had like different elements, and it could like suck elements from stuff and like do shit. It was weird.
I'm remembering other villains from the show. What was the dude's name who was like the spider head? What was his name?
Oh,
Because he was
I
he was supposed
forget.
to be like the boyfriend or something of
Of
what's
Oh,
her
oh,
face.
oh,
what's her name?
oh,
Kitty or something.
oh.
Yeah,
Kitten.
Kitten.
Kitten. Yeah.
Oh God, I know what you're.
Because also there's the
I don't
moth
remember
guy.
his
There was the
name.
father. Oh,
The
what was
moth
that guy's
guy.
name?
Yeah, you're right. What
I
is his
don't
name?
remember his name.
I forget.
I forget.
I see him. I know what you're
See-
talking about, but I
see-
forget.
I see him in my head. You're right. Yeah.
See, the name that comes to me is Ash, but I don't think that's what his name was. It was something else. But I'm
thought
oh,
it was
Fang.
started with, like,
Fang. That's what it was. His
was
name
it?
was Fang. Yes.
Fang.
Fang. Yeah. Okay.
Because also too, I'm also remembering some of these characters because they were also in the game on the GameCube and all that.
The GameCube game.
Yeah, they were like, hey, let's make a versus mode and have all these other characters in there, and he was in there.
Which Jerry and I played on the channel a long time ago. It was a VidGames. Well, it started off as a playthrough, then it just randomly became a VidGames versus.
Yeah.
So,
No, yeah, there was him, and there was what was the other one that I was just thinking of right now? I remember there was one. I think it was just kind of like some one-off villain it was like a heart, and its name was Cardiac. Or something like that.
yeah.
And it was like, what the fuck is this? It's just a
Yeah.
heart, and like its name is Cardiac. Cardiac arrest. I get it, but it's like what?
Oh
I
my
think
god.
I know what you're talking about.
Because I think Cyborg or someone defeats it or something
Yeah,
like
it
that.
was something I thought it was weird.
And I was like, what? I don't even remember the context of the episode where that villain appeared in. Dude.
It was like the one, I think. I think it comes back later, but it was just the one episode.
It was the one episode from when I can remember it, but it was just like, huh?
Good show
What?
overall. Teen Titans, amazing. I love it. Then you got Crypto, the Super Dog, which I remember watching.
Crypto, the super dog. Oh, that show. It was really cute. I love Streaky.
Streaky.
And
It's
God,
like
that show had the best cat characters. Like, I don't know, but like you got Isis, you got Delilah, what was her name? Princess, Katie McCat. Like, I don't know why. I loved all of them. All the cat characters were so good. The only one I didn't really like was Mechanicat. I don't know why. You think I would like him, but like for some reason I just wasn't that interested.
It's been so long since I've watched that show. I don't remember much of it, quite frankly.
I've never seen it.
But I remember I just have like a vague. I couldn't find my word there. Vague memory of it. I remember it for sure, but I can't recall much. Like how you just recalled a bunch of characters and whatnot. Can't do that, unfortunately. I'll probably remember more if I actually were to watch it again, like see some episodes from it. We've got programming from we've been looking at programming from like Cartoon Network, Warner Brothers Animation, Fox Kids, Hanna-Barbera, and 4Kids, which we'll get there. So Tiny Toon Adventures is one that I... Tiny Toons is one I talked about. I mentioned earlier, never really watched it. We're just going to go through. We've got Captain Planet, the new Scooby-Doo movies, Scooby-Doo Where Are You?, the Scooby-Doo Show, Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo, and the new Scooby and Scrappy-Doo Show. Which I think...
That's a lot of Scooby-Doos.
I think that was the one with the cool 80s intro, wasn't it? The one that I like?
It was. I think it was, yes.
It's a bitchin' fucking like guitar riff. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that intro. That theme. 4Kids. There we go. Pokemon.
Pokemon. Oh my god, I love Pokemon. Old episodes of Pokemon, Kanto and Johto, are my favorite things. I stopped watching when it got into Hoenn, though I have watched some Toenn episodes. And then I remember the premiere of Sinnoh, Diamond and Pearl, because I remember this specifically. They were showing like for over like a whole, like it wasn't just a weekend. It was like a whole ass week or something. It was like every single episode of Pokemon up until the premiere of Diamond and Pearl. I remember that was the thing that they were doing.
Wow.
And I was just like, this is the best thing ever, because it was just like old Pokemon episodes all day, and I'm like, oh my god, I love this. So nostalgic.
Yeah, I jumped in around, I think it was like Advanced Challenge, Advanced Battle, like around there.
Okay, so that's that one.
I just see. I love how you go by region. I go by psychics. I remember May and Max. They're the ones that I hopped in on because after Misty, you know, everyone else eventually Brock too. Later, way later, ended up not joining the party anymore. So it was always like Ash, Brock, and somebody. So it was Ash, Brock, Misty, Ash, Brock, May, and Max. Ash, Brock, the other girls that were there.
So the other girls.
I don't know them because at that point,
So yeah, the other girls.
there were only
and all
so
that.
many episodes of Pokemon I actually remember watching on TV that when it then Pokemon moved entirely off of the WB network onto Cartoon Network, and I couldn't watch it anymore. So I don't know what the fuck. I've seen some stuff. I've seen like the intros. We watched the intros. I remember I remember watching one of Jordan Fringe's streams, and he was watching a bunch of Pokemon stuff, and he was he listened to the one of the Sun and Moon intros, and it's really short, which is like a fucking crime because it's so goddamn good.
Oh, I remember you showed me that.
Yeah,
I think I know which one you're talking about.
It sounds like some late '90s shit. It's so fucking good.
Yeah, because you were like, listen to this intro, and then you had me listen, and I was like, huh, that's
Yeah,
really
because
cool.
that's what. No, it was one of those things where I was like with Samurai Jack, I'm like, oh my god, like, oh, you get that nasty.
Yeah, I think
face,
I know
you're
which one
like,
you're
oh, that's
talking about.
good.
Yeah.
Sounds pretty good. My favorite intro has always been the Orange Islands. That's the one that sticks in my head the most. You know that one, right?
Which one was that?
It's like we all live in a Pokemon world. Pokemon. That one.
I think so.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Which was the one from the movie? Because I know which one it is.
We talk about Pokemon 3.
Pokemon 3.
Oh god, the first movie and Pokemon 3 are so good. The Pokemon 3 is definitely one of my favorite anime movies like ever. I love that movie so much. That was the Johto intro, but the movie version. It's a whole new world we live in. Pokemon Johto.
Okay, so Vic's like, the fuck? Like, he has no idea what we're talking about. You do remember the movies?
I know the Mewtwo one we have.
Yeah, that was the first movie.
Yeah, that's really...
Then there was, 2000, I think? And then there was Pokemon 3.
Pokemon 2000, Pokemon 3.
And then from
Pokemon
there...
Forever.
Wait,
it had Entei and Unknown in it. Pokemon 3 had Entei and Unknown.
I remember one that had Lucario in it.
That was way later.
That was Lucario and the Mystery of
Mystery
Mew.
of Mew, yeah.
Okay, then I've never heard
There was
of those.
Destiny Deoxys. There was... I think we watched that one.
I
one.
remember hearing that Deoxys one, but I've never seen. See, anything else I've ever seen of Pokemon?
There are too many fucking Pokemon.
The only real one that I
Yeah,
know
there are.
was the Mewtwo one. That
We should
have,
watch
and,
them.
like,
We should just, like, with no knowledge from, like, the shows they're based off or whatever, or the games, we should just watch them.
I've seen clips.
I
of it, and I'm
watched
interested in seeing it.
some where I haven't like seen. Well,
There was Forever. I remember
which
the
one did
trailers,
which
the
one did I
commercials for
stop
that.
at?
Pokemon
I stopped
Forever.
at like. God, which one did I stop at? It was like, it was the one with the Giratina or something. I think I started to watch it and then like I just didn't finish it. But I saw the Diancie movie, the
I think I know
XY
which-
one.
I think I know
Because
what you're talking about.
I really enjoyed XY. I thought that was good. Not XYZ. Whatever the fuck Ash Greninja came into it. Not that shit. Get that out of my life, please.
I just learned. I never seen a picture, but I just learned about Ash Greninja, and I was like recently, and I was like, "The hell, Ash Greninja? The fuck?"
It's so dumb.
never
It is
seen-
the dumbest concept.
I've never seen it, but I heard it. I heard the name, and I was like, "Huh?"
But does he get turned into a Greninja?
No, it's like because Ash's Greninja, like they have this special bond, and like
Can
it's
you
so
put a
like
picture
it's
of
so
it?
great that like Greninja turns into like an Ash version, and like he has the dumb little hair, and it's like it's the
Really?
stupidest shit I've ever seen.
Oh, I see it. I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's this.
Oh,
yeah.
it's
yeah,
that?
this.
Yeah, that's it.
What the hell? Oh my god.
It's because it's something about like their dumb like bond or whatever.
The
It's like
dynamics or
Dumb
something.
bond.
it's like, dude, he has a better bond with fucking Charizard. And like, what about Pikachu? Fucking Pikachu?
Hey,
Like bond with his Greninja than his Pikachu. Really?
Let's talk about Pikachu for a minute, because there was one. I think it's a movie I remember.
Yeah, I was just gonna bring it up.
Where they were in this big crazy. I think it's in the climax. They're in this big crazy Pokemon battle.
Mm-hmm.
They get wrecked really bad to the point where even Ash is like having fucking a concussion or whatever. And he looks over at Pikachu, and Pikachu talks to him.
Okay,
and everyone freaked the fuck out.
Yeah.
But then there was backlash against it.
Yeah, it's because it's stupid. Okay, listen.
It was in his head. It wasn't real. Because
I have awful, horrible problems with the new Pokemon movies. That was like I don't know. Was that the Pokemon I Choose You? Like
I think so.
The movie that was like supposed to be like based on the first episode. It was like a retelling, of the events of the first episode. But my problem with that is that like, oh yeah, let's retell the events of Kanto, but put all this fucking like Gen 7 Pokemon in it. It's like, no, what are you doing? It's like, why are they here? Why are they in Kanto?
Oh my god.
Region specific, huh?
You can't retell the events of something that happened like all that time ago. It's like, remember when it used to be gotta catch 'em all? It's like, now there's so many fucking Pokemon. Like, I don't even remember the names of half of them.
Now it's called Good Luck Catching Them All.
It's called, like Pokemon. It's the same game all the time, and the characters don't shut up.
And your rival is more like your sarcastic best friend.
And your sarcastic buddy. It's like, shut up. Like, oh my god, I have like such a problem with Pokemon nowadays. But like, I love the old stuff. It was a really big part of my childhood.
Did you hear of it that they're doing a sequel to Detective Pikachu?
I thought that was news before, like when the first movie came out.
No, well, I think it was rumored, but I think it's been confirmed now.
Oh, well, that's cool.
I think so. Detective Pikachu was solid. I really liked it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked it.
It was okay.
It was fresh. Of course, it was a more American feeling take on Pokemon. It wasn't like
I just didn't like how Mewtwo had weird human ass teeth.
Oh god, don't remind.
I think that was people's biggest fear was, okay, why are we making it live action CGI when like they're all gonna look all? Because there have been many for years, dare I say decades of photorealistic Pokemon in the real world, from just artists and fan art and whatnot. So people, of course, the jokes and memes knew no bounds. So they're like, oh, it's gonna be like this. It's gonna look like this. They'll look creepy, this and that. They look pretty solid.
I think really the only creepy-ish looking ones were the Greninjas.
They're supposed to be.
Well, I know they
given
are,
the,
but
given
like,
the context in which and how they show up.
No, I know, but it was
they're
like,
supposed to be.
They were really the only ones that I found like creepy. It was like, ugh.
Especially because their tongues look actually like, and they're just like,
yeah. It was like,
oh god. Yeah, but like the whole thing about Pokemon is like, I used to love Pokemon because for a long time it was like, I mean, obviously there was Pokemania in the 2000s. That was a thing. Yeah. I was there for like the height of that, and it will never reach those heights again, ever. But it was just a different time. But it was all about like, every time you would travel to a new region, like there'd be different Pokemon. It was all kind of a mystery. It's like, oh yeah, there's different things, and now it's just like, yeah, let's throw some fucking like Kalos and like a Alola Pokemon in Kanto. Don't worry about it. Like, fuck off.
Well, I remember having an issue with some of the new Pokemon from different generations where it looked like they were literally out of ideas. And the thing that I think is cool about the newer ones now, like Sword and Shield, Scarlet Violet, they're starting to get some really fantastic designs back. I don't know who the fuck were the Pokemon character designers from some of the earlier generations, because you got shit like, I don't know their names, but you got some shit like, there's this Pokemon that looks like an ice cream cone. There's one that looks like literal garbage.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
that's the one. That's the one that people always go to. It's like, you have an ice cream Pokemon that's so like you're out of ideas. It's like, I don't think that's necessarily true, because like Pokemon has always been. It wasn't always animals. Like it just happened to be a lot of them were.
Well, because
like
a
lot of them were stupid. Like Tangela. What the fuck is Tangela?
Mm-hmm.
or like the Magnemites, whatever they are, like the unknown, of course. You know, like you got some weird
yeah.
abstract ones, but they were, but they looked cool. They had cool sounding names. Some of them were a little weird later down the road, and I was like, the fuck, what is like? I haven't beaten a single Pokemon game. Let me just make that clear right now. Like Vic and I still have to get back to Sword.
I still have to do Sword on my own time.
Yeah, so like
Geodude is a floating rock. Like, what do you?
But Geodude's first. Okay, Geodude. That's like an awesome name, and like just he looks cool. Onyx looks cool. But like a lot of the designs we've got now in the newer Pokemons. A lot of the Pokemon we've got now, they look cool, and some of them that are supposed to be cute look cute. Like Sprigatito, he's cute. I like him. Sprigatito. Number 15, Sprigatito. That's cool. The fact that Scarlet and Violet's gonna be like in this like kind of what it's got. Okay, because what they're doing now with the regions is they're kind of putting they're interjecting a bit of like actual like a cultural type of influence. Like there was
like real life cultural influence.
Yeah, there was like the UK inspired. That was what region was that? Galar or something?
Galar, yeah.
Then what's the region for now for this gen?
Oh, I forget.
It's got like Spain influence
it's
in
like
it.
Spain,
it's like Spain. Yeah,
it's really cool. I dig that. I think it's a cool way to kind of reinvent. You know.
I mean, I think it's cool. I don't think there's anything wrong with like the regions and the new stuff. Like Kalos was like France. That whole thing was cool. I like Kalos a lot. But it's not like they never did that in like at first, because in the beginning it was like they still the regions were still like it was still based on things, but it was based on stuff in Japan.
Yeah. But I mean, it is cool. It's like if that's all, well, not all, but like if you've kind of for the while exhausted your ideas from Japan influence, then it's cool to start bringing in other cultures and other continents and wherever else for inspiration and for the aesthetic of these new regions. It still feels like it's all part of this massive Pokemon world. It's cool. What's also really weird is seeing how they are bringing back older Pokemon and like giving them those like region specific. So like the Diglets here are weird, the whatever's here are weird, and like so they're like there's that. I guess
it's like Galar coughing or something.
I don't even remember that.
It's where
the
hat.
The regional versions are kind of weird, like
like Alolan Raichu or something.
I kind of like Alolan Raichu. Well, I like the fact that like Raichu got some recognition with that, because it's all about Pikachu, but I always liked Raichu.
Remember how about them Pokemon rumors, like there was an evolution after Raichu?
That was part of Pokemania as well. It was the Pokegods and all those schoolyard rumors. I was around for that shit. I remember it. People used to spread those rumors at school. Like, I want to go back to that time, because it was like, it was just a bunch of dumb kids who loved Pokemon.
And hey, let's move on to another show. If it wasn't Pokemon, it was Yu-Gi-Oh!
I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I have a mini poster right here. Like,
I had my binders. I have all the cards still. We were flipping through them not too long ago. Vic's got his cards. We still have our mats.
I think I may have stolen a card or two from your thing.
Yeah, thanks. Anyway,
I have like a bunch of I have a bunch of cards in like my little thing there, and then I have in the drawer I have my binder where I keep all my dragon cards.
Yep, you've shown it to me in person. I've seen it.
Yep.
Yeah, my God, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was such a huge influence on me. It was dumb fun. It was really good. It was super solid.
I love it.
Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Were my starting to anime.
Yeah.
For that very kid friendly, we got to censor everything, but it's still very lighthearted anyway. With some emotional bits here and there, of course, where they can do it, get away with it, whatever, however they wanted to write it. It was some good stuff. I think I want to say, not to get off topic, because we're not, I'm just going to say this real quick as a comment. I think my first actual like anime, not censored, blood and cursing galore, was probably Soul Eater. Probably. But, no,
I don't remember for me what that was exactly. But like, I kind of remember when you know what? It was probably Inuyasha. But
Nice.
I kind of remember when like the transitional period started where it was like, oh, we're getting away from like the dubs that, you know, censor stuff, and now we're keeping all that. It's like, yeah, okay, like that's cool. The thing I like about Inuyasha is that it didn't censor anything, but like the dub was still very like it was still very, it was kind of for kids-ish in its nature. It was still kind of fun. Like obviously they were like able to say words that they aren't allowed to say on 4Kids, but
Wait,
it
really?
kind of had that it kind of had that you know, that fun vibe where it was like kind of the in between period of those times. And that's what I really like. I think Dragon Ball kind of has something like that too.
Yeah.
Where it's still very fun. It retains that entertaining nature that it kind of always had. Whereas nowadays, like when they dub anime, it always has to be like, oh, we have to make sure it's like it's perfect, and we say the names right. It's like, no. How about you don't? Like, how about you I don't care. It's like we have to, it's like, oh God, what is it? It's like we have to make sure that we're saying it like it's very like it's authentic. It's like the authentic Japanese way. It's like, don't say it like that though, because you're not speaking Japanese. You're speaking English. It's a different language with different sounds. Like, so I don't like how it's like, oh, we used to say the name this way, but now we say it this way, but it sounds really stupid the way they say it now. Like so we used to say it momoji and now we say it momoji. Like, oh, we have to have that like the intonation on the right syllable. It's like, fuck off, who cares?
Oh, Victor and I, a smaller example, but Vic and I will never get over. We thought one of the villains or final bosses from Tekken 6 was. I thought it was Azazel. Come to find out, the announcer pronounced it Azazel. Azazel. But yeah, some of the characters in universe later on in other games call it Azazel.
Yeah, it was
Azazel.
Yeah.
It's like the fuck.
It's in the intro when Nina's narrating in the story mode for 7. Because she goes Azazel and it's like, ew, excuse me, Azazel.
I still like Azazel, to be perfectly honest, but if I have to say Azazel, yeah, whatever.
I kind of like Azazel.
Let's say Azazel sounds more like.
Hey, I pronounce it Arceus, so like, who the hell cares?
Arceus. So many different pronunciations for things. But for Yu-Gi-Oh, oh Lord.
People can say what they want about 4Kids, but like you can't deny the cultural impact that Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, like even One Piece for some people, like had. Like, I mean, obviously for One Piece, it's all about the Funimation stuff. But you know, 4Kids, like they still did their version, and a lot of people saw that first. A lot of people they love the One Piece rap. Like that shit is still their childhood. They really did a lot for bringing anime into the West, I think.
Yeah. Because that was a big thing. Like Dragon Ball did take the US by storm in terms of how it was brought over, but Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, other Digimon really did, and One Piece, Inuyasha, maybe to a lesser extent Bakugan. Yeah, it really did, because you were all about Bakugan as a kid.
Oh my god.
Because in terms of like things that weren't for kids, like Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon blew up.
Yep.
Like that was the real big shit.
Yep. To the point where American shows and whatnot still do little nods, winks, parodies, references to them to this day.
Yeah.
Because they are cultural icons over here. And it's really cool because it's also really funny when that just reminds me of how like Crash is kind of a cultural icon for video games in Japan, because Crash blew the fuck up in Japan. And that's really cool that like they can love the fuck out of a character made in the US and we love anime and they made anime. And it's so cool how we've got that exchange, that cultural exchange. It's just so like humble. And with Yu-Gi-Oh, like I don't care what anyone says. Our Yu-Gi-Oh that we have, that I grew up with on Kids WB, got the VHS tapes, got the movie, Pyramid of Light, then got the DVDs. Love them. So good. Then I remember catching Waking the Dragon season 4 definitely on TV, and then into season 5, which I hopped around at that point. because I was busier with school, with other whatever, so like I didn't really tune in too much to a whole lot of Yu-Gi-Oh in that time. I just don't remember it. By the time of season 5, at least half one. The Millennium World arc is where I started to kind of tune back in because I'm like, oh my god, like we're getting actual fucking backstory now with the Pharaoh and all of that nonsense. Up until the last episodes, and I watched the show when it ended, and I'm like, oh my god, like that is like so weird that it's finally that's over, you know? And then not really having like at that time, you know, we either didn't have Amazon yet or it was still like very brand new. I don't even think we had Amazon yet, so I couldn't really buy anything. Well, we never really bought anything online. That was a foreign concept at the time too, for us anyway, for our family. So we never did it. So I didn't have any real quick, efficient way to get the seasons. I don't have any of the seasons to this day, like full seasons. I remember the first thing I ever bought for you before I started dating was season 4 on DVD.
Because that's my favorite one.
Because you just told me, and I'm like, I want to do a good deed for you. Like, I want to get that for you because we both really bonded over that. So I did that for you. That was the first thing I ever bought for you. And I don't have a season to this day, but like I would love to have some of the seasons. But I've got some volumes on DVD and on VHS as well. And I remember finding way later, like a couple, probably years, not a couple, well, some time ago, some odd years back, I was like, I want to make it my mission to finally watch Yu-Gi-Oh! From beginning to end. Because every time I rewatch episodes, I have to bust out the DVDs or the VHSs before our VCR broke. And I could only watch what we had or watch clips and patches online. So I finally found a website that had Yu-Gi-Oh! Then we ended up getting like Hulu and all that stuff, and then I found Yu-Gi-Oh! On there before they took it down. It was on Netflix, and then they took it down, and they only had seasons 1 and 3 up. Then they relocated everything over to, I think, like Hulu or something. And then I finally started my binge proper, and because from watching it online, I only got to season 2. Then picking it back up on like Hulu or wherever, I watched it there from where I left off on season 2 onward, and just slowly chipped away, and I finally did it.
Yeah.
So
I want to do that too because I only remember my memories of Yu-Gi-Oh go from seasons 1 to 3, and that was both arcs in season 3. Because I remember the Noah thing, and I remember the end of, I think it was the end of the Battle City stuff.
Yeah.
And which, seeing of those ones, I love Battle City, and also really quick,
it was cool.
I feel like that season of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Bakugan, and I think maybe something else too, was really when I really liked when characters were possessed and stuff like that, and they made them
I kind of like that too.
And I was like, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
That's like kind of where I started liking those kind of characters and stuff, like, or that kind of like thing of like, oh, this character is possessed by this evil thing
trope.
and all that.
I was actually about to say, well, I was actually going to make fun of that because of how you said that Battle City coming to the end there. I'm like, all I can think of are the PTSD flashbacks to when they would fucking play over and over. Because I was going to say, the writers around that time, didn't really have too many good ideas. They had to filler out with like these scenes that just made no sense. And they had a flashback constantly to shit that we already knew about. Fucking when Joey and Yugi are like, we gotta go and beat Merrick. Yeah, those goons won't want to mess with us, or whatever he says. And like, I just remember because they would flash back to that like
all the time.
10 times in one episode.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? It's because they had to cut out so much shit that they had to fill the time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
So like,
I do remember that.
It's crazy how that stuff works because like they would literally replace stuff with more flashbacks.
Yeah, because it's like, hey, do you remember this scene from like this episode?
The duel where Merrick takes over Joey and duels Yugi, that whole thing could have been over in like 2 minutes because there's barely a duel. It's just flashbacks.
Yeah. No matter what. That's season 1. But
make this together. No matter what. Been friends forever. Oh, yeah. I know the songs. Jesus Christ. Oh, Music to Duel By. I had one of those little GameCube-sized ass discs. It had Pegasus on it. Face up, face down. Fucking that the Kaiba one, dual masters or dual madness is what it's called.
Yeah.
Dual madness.
I think Dual Masters is like some Yu-Gi-Oh ripoff show.
My brain.
I just remember that one where it was like virtual systems ready. It was
That
like
was Dual Madness.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Perfect.
Oh wait, I want to say too real quick. That theme, Kaiba's theme, is actually from a stock library. It's in an
Arthur.
episode. It's in an episode of Arthur.
Oh, is it? Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah.
I saw a clip of it on Twitter. I'm like, the fuck?
The Arthur music.
I saw a clip of it that someone put like, hey, so Kaiba's music was in an episode of Arthur once. I was like, what? I listened to it, and it was I don't know the context. It was just like an ad that Arthur put up in like on the radio. And so they're just like blasting his little ad on the radio, and the background music is the theme, and I'm like, that sounds like a fucking YouTube poop edit. Like, that's real?
I know.
Oh
It's so crazy. It's so crazy the stuff that you find out about, like that's actually stock.
Yeah.
Like CK's laugh from the Tales from the Crypt intro is now stock.
That's weird.
Because it was used in Power Rangers. I heard it in an episode of Power Rangers. I was like, are you kidding me? Excuse me? I had to pause the episode and go, whoa.
Slow down there. You're telling me that's what that is?
Oh my god.
It's like, are you telling me that's stock now?
Season 4 is the dumbest, best season.
It is the stupidest shit I've ever seen, and I love every second of it.
It's filled with utter nonsense, but it's so good. I love just everything to do with the Orichalcos.
I know, because it's like
I love its theme. I love the Orichalcos theme.
Half of you is like, this is the dumbest shit ever, and then half of you is like, this is actually really intense, though.
Exactly. Well, the stakes are high here, but the rules make no fucking sense.
I know. It's the best. It's the best.
That's funny where it's like that's kind of like what makes me want to do like how you did to binge Yu-Gi-Oh, because I don't remember any of that stuff.
You don't remember season 4?
Anything past 4 and 5, like I don't. Like,
well, 5 I didn't know for the longest time until I watched all of it episode by episode.
I heard about the Seal of Orichalcos stuff, but I never saw any of that. And if I did, it was only ever in like. It was like in passing. I never watched like an episode, or I think I did watch a whole episode, but don't remember it. Or the one I can remember had Rebecca in it, and she was like older, or something like that.
Yeah, that was around season like 5 or so.
Yeah, she
like,
let her hair down, and she has glasses now.
Yeah. Like that's really all I know about those ones. Like 4 and 5, I have no idea. All I remember is that you told me about what's his face, Darts or whatever.
Darts is yeah. Like, I love Darts in Abridged, Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged. My god, he's so fucking funny.
Abridged Darts is the funniest thing.
But no, speaking of season 4, still the most emotional. It was genuinely emotional for me. Moment from season 4 was when was the duel between Yami and or Atem. I'll just say Yami for right now, and Raphael, because he loses in a stupid way. Of course, that's a great example. Stupid way.
He loses in the worst way possible. It's just like the context behind why he loses is so stupid.
It is.
But then like the situation itself is just like, holy shit, he lost.
Like he actually lost. Yugi fucking takes over. Well, not takes over, but lets him sacrifices himself because they've got 2 souls. Orichalcos needs 1, so he was gonna take. So the Orichalcos was going to take Yami. Yugi takes over.
Here's the flashback that they show a million times. I actually remember it. Like, it only needs one of us, so I'm letting the seals take me instead.
Yep.
That's exactly the quote. Because they show that flashback a million times.
Doesn't he also say with the power of the million puzzle, I break the seal or something like that? He says that at one point, too.
I think he does. Yeah, he says that, too.
So it releases Yami and takes him, and then Yami's fucking freak out where he's actually crying. He's like, it should have been him, not me. It should have been me, not him. It should have been him, not me. That's how it was.
That's what happened.
I'm glad it was him, not me.
I'm glad it was him. I hate him.
An abridged thing that was saying.
Oh, God, I hate what they did with it. They made him a fucking pussy crybaby. In the, they made him just like, way, Yugi, way, like literally like that.
I know, but like that's almost an exaggeration of what it really was.
I mean, sure, but I mean, okay. What is the one emotion you ever get from Yami? Determination, some anger in there, but for the right reasons. and confidence. That's almost all he ever is. So when you see him smile or chuckle, it's like, oh my god, he's a human being.
Yeah.
And when he fucking breaks down crying right there, I'm like, oh my god. Like, that really, like, hit me, you know, as a kid. So, like, it's just one of those things.
I can't live without Mo Hitori no Boku.
Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Not to mention, you need to fucking watch. I finally watched with you, Miharu. We were watching Dark Side of Dimensions.
Oh yeah, we watched Dark Side Dimensions, and then I finally saw.
You finally watched it.
Thank God you did.
Okay, for the longest time I was like,
It's
I can't.
weird.
It was weird, but I remember for the longest time I was like, because I got it as a gift for like either a Christmas or a birthday some time ago.
We got you the DVD of it. You never watched it
because I was like, I know that it's taking place after the show. I can't watch because I'm stupid. I can't watch this until I've watched the show because in my fucking mind I have to do shit in chronological order. So like if the show was first, and even though that film kind of takes more from the manga than the show, but it kind of infuses a little bit of both. Like I was just like, I need to watch the show first, then I'll watch that movie, and that's what we did. And now you need to watch that movie because it's fucking weird.
It's weird. It's good, but it's like it's weird. The animation's very good because the animation director was Takahiro Kagami.
But I still have the trailers. Yeah, it looked nice.
The designs are solid. Some of the designs are different because there's a time skip. All I have to say is Mokuba.
Not older Mokuba. He's probably not really older. He's just a little bit taller.
You've got clean ass art direction, art style. Fusion of CGI and hand drawn, so or even if it's digital, whatever, but 2D and CGI.
Yeah, and then also with that, because like that was like, oh, you finally watched Dark Side Dimensions, and then I finally watched Pyramid of Light because I had never seen that.
Yeah, and then we watched Pyramid of Light.
Wow.
Yeah. I love Pyramid of Light so much. Don't tell if I were you. Tell me what you do.
Yeah, I know. I love that credits. Like 2000 ass credits.
Not me.
I remember
I love it.
I remember in Pyramid of Light. I remember the scene that kind of disturbed me slightly was when
that clown fucking monster stabs Yami in the fucking back, literally.
Yeah,
and it's graphic.
Because it's all like silhouetted. Yeah, I was that was the one scene when I saw it. I was like, what the hell? Oh my god.
No, I told Miharu when we were watching before we watched it, like the night we were gonna watch it before we started. I'm like, okay, you probably know this, you might not. I'm like, this was the first thing as the show was still going on. They get away with some stuff here that they couldn't in the show.
Yeah.
There aren't very many things that were censored in this movie.
Yeah, I wonder if like they even could, or they just thought like, you know what, it's a movie, like who cares? Like
probably, yeah. Plus the cards actually looked like the actual playing cards. They didn't look like some like, okay, here's like the picture. Design. Sometimes the picture's not even accurate to what the cards actually look. It's all budget and everything, so you know how it goes. But it was solid. I do really like Pyramid of Light.
Have you like ever read the manga? Like that stuff gets graphic.
I only had the first volume. I wanted more, but we never got any other volumes, and I don't even think I fucking finished that volume. But I got a good chunk through it. I do remember seeing how it starts is definitely how all I've seen from season 0 is again the abridged, and that's actually how I found Little Kuribo was through the was through Pyramid of Light and through season 0 before seeing the actual Duel Monsters episodes get abridged by him, and to see that it was like the same, I'm like, okay. Season 0 is a whole enigma of a take.
Oh, I love season 0, but it's weird.
It's weird.
It's so weird. Season 0 Yami is the best.
I love when they play with it in the bridge too. Like he's like how villainous he can be, how sadistic he is.
Yeah, but like the stuff in the manga, it's like it's actually really really creepy. Like I haven't like actually read it. I just have like a few volumes of it. I have several volumes actually.
Go ahead.
But like, because I remember seeing the comparison to like, oh, this is the manga, this is the original Japanese version of Duel Monsters, and then this is the 4Kids dub, and like the stuff that they changed in between, like the edits that they actually did, it's not only about like, oh yeah, the original Japanese like had blood and then they censored it or whatever. Like sometimes it can get real horrible. Like the one example I remember the most is you know how in the flashback to Merrick's childhood, when he kills his father.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, in the dub, it's just like, oh, we send him to the Shadow Realm, like whatever.
No, he stabs him.
Yeah. And then of course, in the original Japanese, yeah, he stabs him, and then like you see the blood on the wall. In the manga, he skins him. Like because you know how the Tomb Keepers have the symbols and stuff on their back.
Yeah.
Like the inscription. He takes it off his back. It's like it is the most like disgusting thing. I'm like, oh my god! Like they couldn't even do that when they did the show.
There was no way you could.
Jeez.
He'll say, "This is my blanket," and it'll just be a giant censor bar.
I remember the one edit that I can't remember from the show was the dagger on the rod.
Yeah.
And like how he was going to stab what was his name? His
Odeon.
Odeon, yeah.
But no, like what she's talking about too is when he killed his father. Which was part of that same.
I remember that too.
Yeah.
Like
It's just another thing that they censored though. Is like all the instances with the dagger and the Millennium Rod is censored.
Yeah.
Silly, funny censors, the ones I like. You know, taking out all of Pegasus Guard's guns, making them point at you.
Yeah. My invisible guns, the world's finest fruit juice, which is the thing that I quote most often.
I love it. Fucking fruit juice.
Wacky sound effects when fighting.
Yes, I was gonna mention that exactly next. Yes. Go watch Everything Wrong with Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he does it in a satirical but really funny manner.
I was rewatching those and like
fucking Alistair's backstory.
They took Mikey.
They took him.
Why did the army take my brother? Oh, okay. I guess that's what we're going with. Raphael's backstory.
Yeah, that's oh my god.
Oh man, I love Yu-Gi-Oh! And then GX, we're not gonna get into like all the shows, of course, but they're worth mentioning. There's GX, which you do like.
Yeah,
5Ds.
GX is one of my favorites. I love it because like I started watching it it was a few years ago now. But yeah, I was like, you know what? I've never really seen like much of GX because I used to watch it when it like first came on. I was like, this is all right, this is cool. I was like, I'm gonna watch it like from beginning to not end. I didn't watch it all the way from beginning to end, but I did watch quite a few seasons of it. There are 4 seasons. The 4th season was never dubbed.
Wow.
But I watched like 2.5 seasons probably. But yeah, I was watching. I was like, this is so good. Actually, it's really funny. I love Jaden. I think Jaden is fun. Like he is such a fun protagonist. I don't know why people hate him.
We do need to watch more. I still just can't get over his voice. It was really weird to hear at first, but
it sounds fine to me.
I don't remember
because he just sounds older than he actually looks. I really prefer Shady Vox from the bridge stuff because he nails the young side while still sounding hip with the kids or whatever, you know, because he is a kid.
They're like same age voice actors though, probably.
Probably, but again, it's what kind of voice are you doing for the character? And I think something not necessarily nasally, but just on the higher register. Same thing with how Dan Green, you know, voiced Yugi in such a way where he sounded like a normal kid. By like season 4 and especially in 5, I don't know what happened with the direction or if it's just how the voice naturally evolved, but Yugi's like just on that higher register all the time,
like,
always shouting and
it's
always
very weird.
Even when he's talking, he goes from like, I'm over here in season 1, I'm over here in season 5. Like it was a really like it's like straining
I know
to hit that.
It's almost like you get so into the character, but then like you almost like you become an exaggerated version of like who the character is, because like Eric Stewart sort of did that with Kaiba. Like he started exaggerating it a lot like later.
It was the low and sinister kind of take from like season 1 and 2, and then by like 5 he's like always shouting up right here, and it's like always there. And even when he's not shouting, he's just still like he's like even more snidely than ever. It's just how he was written and how he you know the character evolved. Same thing with I guess Yami too or Atem. Like,
I like a lot of the season 1 like takes honestly. Like season 1 Yami, like that voice is really good. He should have just stuck with that.
I like both. I think I've just come to, because it's what it evolved into. I like the later take a little more. I guess I prefer it. I suppose I should say it. It just sounds really assertive. I know it's really like that older register, and it's a lot lower, but it's just commanding. It's just very like
Like it feels very much in character.
I guess. I mean, do you really know what we're talking about at this point, Vic?
Of like later seasons.
In terms of the voice direction and how they sound, I have to show you some comparisons.
Well, kind of from what
because Yami sounded different.
I can remember.
He sounded kind of like a blend of like regular little Yugi and this more commanding presence, but the commanding presence is what you primarily hear of him from how he sounds and how he's shouting commands and how he's talking.
Yeah,
in later seasons.
Yeah, and if it's 4 and 5, then yeah, I don't know how they did that. Because,
well, no, okay. The voice when you think of Yami Yugi, or however you want to call him, Atem the Pharaoh, and you hear his voice in your head, the voice you're probably thinking of right now is the voice it evolved into. It didn't start that way. So
yeah,
I'd have to show some comparisons.
Yeah, you probably
anyway,
have to show me.
So we got GX5Ds. There was Bonds Beyond Time, which I've only seen the abridged version of. Never watched the actual film.
I will say, 5Ds is kind of interesting.
I like Hyperdrive. That's about all I can say from it.
I remember seeing an episode here and there about it, but I've never seen it like from beginning to end.
It's bizarre. It's very bizarre.
It is kind of bizarre, but I'm kind of interested in checking it out. Even GX now, like I wasn't really interested in GX before, but I've seen it around, but wasn't really interested. But now I'm kind of like, oh, well, kind of want to see it just to see how it is.
Oh, sorry, I almost whacked your headphones.
Because like the later Yu-Gi-Ohs are fucking
They're
weird.
fucking bizarre. I looked up, speaking of again YouTube compilations, we looked up intros from all the shows. So it went from Yu-Gi-Oh, I know this is childhood, to GX, pretty cool. 5Ds, I like Hyperdrive, like I just said, and then like after that, literally Zexal, what? Arc V, what? Like just from there, it just kept getting weird.
Arc V onward was kind of like what?
Sevens is fucking. At that point, once Sevens, I heard about that. I was like, I don't know what's happening. This isn't
Brains.
Brains. I'm like, this is not Yu-Gi-Oh. What is this?
It was like you're just milking the franchise at this point. What the hell are you doing?
Like you're just. I don't know what's going on. It's very bizarre.
It still reminds me of that one image that
oh boy, thank you.
It still reminds me of that one image that I showed you, where it was like, here's the protagonist from, here's Yu-Gi-Oh, or here's Yugi, here's what's his face from Jaden, but also like whatever the character's name was from 5Ds and all the other protagonists.
You say.
And it was like, here's the modern version, and it's just like all of their hairs combined, all their hair designs combined.
Oh yeah, I
and,
saw
like,
that.
all the freaking tech and shit and all that. And I was like, yeah.
Jaden has the most normal hair of every Yu-Gi-Oh protagonist.
Yeah, it's the most normal you ever get.
Just shaggy, two-toned brown hair.
He's also like the only protagonist whose name doesn't start with U.
No, just his last name to try and keep within tradition.
Jane Yuki.
Yuki. Because it sounds like Yugi.
Wasn't Yugi in like as like a brief little thing in 5
Yeah, I had a cameo.
GX?
Yes. Well, see, GX is like a sort of a continuation, but it's just focusing on different characters. But you get like, that's Joey's cousin, or Kaiba created this school, or there's the Pharaoh, even though
the funniest thing about that still is the fact that if you really think about it, because Kaiba made the school, and you know how like there's the ranks.
Yeah,
like there's
I know what you're gonna
like
say.
Obelisk Blue, like Raw Yellow, and like Slifer Red, and Slifer Red is the lowest one, and Obelisk Blue is the highest one. It's like, oh, because Kaiba's card is the highest rank, Yugi's card was the lowest rank. Like, yeah, that's why he did it.
Oh, jeez.
And then Merrick's card, he was just like, whatever, that's middle, I guess.
I love how in really. Well, I guess it's applicable, but I guess it's literally applicable, but whatever. I love how in Dark Side Dimensions, Kaiba just has this like weird Stockholm syndrome thing happening, where he's like, my entire purpose in this film is to put together the Millennium Puzzle to summon the Pharaoh, so I can play more card games with him, so I can finally win. God damn it! It was very bizarre. But That's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, that's Yu-Gi-Oh in a nutshell.
Cubics, Robots for Everyone. I vaguely remember that show.
Wait, what?
Moving on.
Cubics?
I
Cubics.
vaguely remember it only because I had like a VHS of like the first episode. It was like some kind of sample VHS or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like that's the only time I ever saw it.
What we got here? Let's see. Syndicated from Sony Pictures Television. Channel Umpty 3. No idea what that is. Men in Black the series. I know of it. Generation O. Never seen it.
Nope.
Jackie Chan Adventures. Hey.
Hell yeah!
Jackie Chan.
Love Jackie Chan Adventures.
And the thing too, actually, I'm surprised you didn't mention it when we were talking about the Batman, is that it was, I think, the same character designer, because the
Yes.
because that was something you pointed out that I didn't even realize. And then when I like really looked at the art style for someone like the thugs or like other characters, I'm like, oh fuck, you're right.
Yeah, like I noticed that immediately because like also you could definitely see it when like there's this reporter dude or something in the one episode of the Batman, and he has like this weird diamond shaped head, and I'm like that is a Jackie Chan Adventures character, like that is a character design from that show.
And you got Max Steel, which do you know that one?
Max Steel. Wait, which year was that?
2000 to 01.
No, I don't know that version. I know the version that started in like 2013.
There was I think
That's the one that I watched.
There's a newer one, yeah. Phantom Investigators.
Never heard of that.
I feel like I know this one.
I never heard.
I can't remember. Well, some fucking pictures would help. Anyway. Oh, Spectacular Spider-Man. Yep, I remember that one. That was a pretty good show. Finally ended up on Disney Plus. People were wondering if that was ever going to come because there was some weird ass rights with Spider-Man happening between just like with Marvel and with everyone else, like Sony and all these other things. That's why a movie like No Way Home is even amazing to have been made. But with the cartoons, Spectacular Spider-Man was one of those weird ones where people remember liking it, but couldn't really find it to purchase anywhere or to watch anywhere. So like, ever since after it aired, it never really appeared anywhere else. But now, finally, just very recently, I think they put it on Disney Plus. So I would definitely recommend Spectacular Spider-Man because again, it was one of those modern. It was like the Batman for Spider-Man.
Oh yeah.
A very more modern for the time take on those characters and the world and everything, and it was really cool because.
Yeah. And again, I really like the art style for that show.
Yeah. They do the Venom storyline again. Gwen's there. Mary Jane is there too. Flash has a bigger role, kind of. So like, it was cool. I dug it. Magi Nation is what I remember. The Spider Riders, which doesn't sound familiar to me.
Never heard of that.
Magi Nation is one I do remember.
Spider Riders? I've heard of that. I've never watched it.
Magi Nation. That sounds familiar.
I watched a few episodes of Magi Nation because it kind of caught my interest, but I don't remember it very much at all anymore. Will and Do It. I don't.
Nope.
Do it. Yeah, do it. I don't know that one. World of Quest. I don't know that one either.
Nope.
I've never heard of that one either.
All of these were produced by Cookie Jar Entertainment. All of this might as well be Chinese to me because I don't understand any of it.
Well, it says syndicated from
Cookie Jar.
Besides Magi Nation.
I think Cookie Jar had something to do with Xiaolin Showdown or Chronicles, maybe. I don't know.
Acquired programming. Apparently, there was Earthworm Jim, which I remember hearing about. Never watched it.
I didn't know that.
And when I say I remember hearing about it, not even back when I was a kid. I mean, like a little more, not recently, but like some odd years back. Legend of Calamity Jane. Okay, this is all 90s shit, so I don't remember any of this.
Calamity Jane.
Calamity Jane.
Brats of the Lost Nebula. It's not.
What the fuck?
It's not Bratz, like, you know, the girly Bratz. It's not that. It's Brats of the Lost Nebula. I don't know what the fuck this is.
I don't know what that is either.
1996 in conjunction with Jim Henson's Creature Shop, so that's interesting. Invasion America? Nope. I have no idea what the hell that is. X-Men Evolution?
X-Men Evolution. Here we go. I didn't watch the show entirely, but I did watch quite a few episodes. I remember when it was airing on Kids WB. it was a good show. I think this is a really good show. I have to watch it again, definitely. I think it might be on Disney Plus, and if it is, then I will definitely watch it.
Is this like the Batman for X-Men?
I think it is. I think so.
Because I was gonna say, my mom knows the '80s cartoon.
Yes, I think this is definitely like the Batman and Spectacular Spider-Man of X-Men.
Okay. Card Captors, which...
Yes, Card Captors.
Okay, that's you.
I've heard of that, but I've never seen...
I don't know much about it.
Card Captors, a mystic adventure. Yeah. I didn't watch a ton of it, but I do remember it. It was pretty cool because what they did with it was it was during that time where one of those practices was to take an anime that was like more of like a girly anime and like make it appeal more to like a general audience. So they wanted it to appeal to like boys as well. And so they made it more of like an adventure kind of thing where like originally Cardcaptor Sakura is it's a very weird anime. It's very it's like kind of magical girlish, but like also it's a romance anime. So it's like it's very different.
I remember you talked about this to me and showed me the differences and things here and there about it. I do remember that.
And it has some things which I can only describe as like incest and pedophilia. It's very weird.
oh, well, okay.
Lovely stuff. Dragon Ball Z. Which
hell yeah.
I am okay. Now she says this as if she grew up with the show.
I did.
I'm going to tell you
I
all
watched
right
it
now.
on Toonami. I knew about it on Toonami. I didn't watch it back then, but I knew about it.
This is what happened recently, and then by recently I mean not very, very like a couple of years back. I want to say what was it? Probably 2019, 2020.
It was
probably.
like 2019. It was like 2019.
2019.
The end.
So definitely the end. I remember it was the end of it. Yeah. So okay. So we're hanging out one night.
Yeah.
And we're in a call together, and she tells me, so I've been looking up some Dragon Ball Z shit. She goes, and I know it's like, it's like a dumb but like fun type of show, and it's very action oriented. So she's like, I know what it is, and I know we should watch some. And I was like, I'm down. And we're watching.
I think my exact words were, "You want to watch Dragon Ball?"
Yes. Yes. And I was like, sure. And then we watched like maybe 4 or 5 episodes, and we were like, "What happens next?" And we were hooked.
No, well, we started watching the original Dragon Ball Z, which has like so much filler.
Yes.
And it's like really, really boring at the beginning.
That's true.
It is like extremely boring. And then we're like, okay, it's good, but there's a lot of filler. And then like, so we're like, oh well, I looked up Kai. Yes. I was like, what's Dragon Ball Z Kai? And I realized that it's basically Dragon Ball Z, but without the filler. And I think like for me, my attention span needs something like that. So I was like, well, we can watch that because like it'll get straight to the plot and it'll probably be better for us. And so we started watching that, and we're like, oh my god, this is fucking good.
See, it's really
it's like, how have I never seen this?
Yeah. It's really funny on how that happens because I've always seen Kai on TV, but I've never watched it because for some reason it never gained my interest. But I've seen it around.
I don't remember any specific promos or commercials, but I would see that too. But I never really knew what it was, so I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. So I was kind of like, okay, well, that's that. Like any other. I've like kind of like how we had like a small collective like shows of like this is what we watched.
Yeah.
Like anything else like Dragon Ball was kind of like it. We would see it in passing, but we wouldn't be like, well, let's see what this is about. Like we would just kind of be like, okay, well, this is on.
And that was just the circumstance of being a kid and watching the shows you have, and then whatever just grabbed you will grab you. And Dragon Ball never really. It just happened to not grab us.
Yeah, that's why like later, like even if now I'm still on the original, like I'm almost done with the first season of the original.
I love, in your typical Miharu fashion, how you were like, this is awesome, and we're watching this, and I'm watching this with Mark. I'm gonna watch all this other shit, and then you just got
by myself
super into it, to the point where now you can talk about it as if you've watched it since you were like 3.
I can talk about it as if I watched it for like 30 years.
So, like, my lord, like we still need to get back to Kai, but like, my only experience now has been clips from Super, other things of the like, and then us playing Fighters
Super.
and Xenoverse 2.
Yeah, so what had happened was there's a little bit more backstory into why I wanted to watch it in the first place. There's a little bit more. So like to explain my history, it actually goes back to my childhood. Watching Toonami because Dragon Ball Z would be on Toonami, and I wouldn't watch it, but it would be on, and I'd be like, okay, like this is kind of boring, whatever, like. Because I loved Sailor Moon, but then Dragon Ball was just like, well, whatever. I remember the thing that stuck with me for like 20 plus years was Cell's introduction. When he like fucking melts that dude, I'm like that scarred me for life. I'm like, that is one of the scariest things I've ever seen, and yeah, I remember that stuck with me. So I wasn't looking forward to getting to that, and I was like, oh, when I had to see it again, I was like, oh no, I remember this. It was so scary. But yeah, it was just kind of a thing that I was like, whatever. And then the reason that I wanted to watch it back in, like, of course, this was like 2019, the end of 2019, because my friend Hari had gotten into because she was into Yokai Watch, and then on the little Yokai Watch app, whatever, she'd be playing that, and they had an event with a show called Snack World, which is also a game, and there was a character in that, and and so she showed me this character, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And what she told me was that, like, oh, did you know he's voiced by Ryusei Nakao? And at that time, I'd only known him for voicing Agent Umbrella from Deca Ranger, which is a Sentai. And so I said, oh, that's cool. And like that was the only thing that I knew. So she showed me this character, and I heard the voice. I was like, oh, that's funny. And I really, really loved this character, Dale Falcon. I really love him. And so I started to really, really like this character. But then I had started to realize, I was like, oh yeah, didn't like he also voice Frieza? Because like that's what he's known for. Like that's a big like role that he's known for is Frieza, of course. And I was like, I'm gonna just kind of like watch a little bit of like Dragon Ball things just to like hear the voice and stuff. And so I did that. And I'm like, okay. And then that's why I told you, I was like, do you want to watch Dragon Ball? And that's why we started watching it in Japanese. Basically, so I could hear Frieza's voice. And I was like, oh no, I love Frieza. And then like it spiraled into this fucking like that's what I call like
dark
the beginning
rabbit hole.
Like exactly. That's what I call the beginning of the end, like my downward spiral into this fucking obsession with like a bunch of like characters voiced by Ryusei Nakao. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And it just keeps happening. And I'm like, god damn it. And that's why I like Caesar. That's how I got into One Piece. And I'm like, god damn it. It keeps happening.
It never ends.
It never ends. And so like it just blew up Basically.
Oh man. Okay, so we've been going for damn near 2.5 hours. We need to get through a lot of these. We're still on Kids WB. We haven't gotten to Toon's Ire Vortex yet.
Okay,
Holy shit. I'm sweating. Oh no, she's getting too excited.
I'm sweating with passion.
Okay, so we got the mummy.
It's like actually really hot in here though.
Turn your fan on.
I don't want to because that'll be too cold.
Okay. We've got the Mummy. Have you ever seen the Mummy show?
I have an episode on the Creepy Cook-Off, the tape.
Oh yeah, we watched that one, didn't we? I know we watched the
Yes.
tape. What was that episode? I don't remember it.
It was like the one where like one of the characters like turns into like a werewolf or something.
What?
I don't remember. That's
What's to do with the
basically
Mummy?
Yeah, it was like a bunch of episodic shit. I think that's what the Mummy cartoon did. I like the Mummy movies. I really like them. I have them on DVD.
We watched we watched the first one. Did we watch the second one?
I don't think we watched the second one.
There's Rescue Heroes, which I have no idea what that is.
Nope.
We got Sailor Moon, of course.
Sailor Moon, the original Deke dub, was my childhood. I will not accept any other dub. It's not. Oh, it's not true. I really like the voice actors that are in like the current dub. But I don't know. That original dub is just something on its own, and that was my childhood. And I literally don't care how stupid it is. I love it. It's like, I don't care if you had to like change this character from a guy to a girl because you didn't want to have gay, or like you had to change these lesbians to cousins. I don't care what you did. Like, it's dumb, but I like it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I just started watching Sailor Moon on Hulu. So
Hulu. How are you liking it?
It's interesting. It's really funny, and like when I would see those like older animes, because it's like, wow, they really got away with doing this, huh? Like watching the original Dragon Ball, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, but it was like that. But then I was like, I'm kind of engaged by like what's happening and like the story and all that. Like the fillers,
Right.
like fillers, whatever. But like I was like, like with what I've watched so far, I've already got like my favorite characters already. I'm like, okay, I like this one, I like that one.
Which characters do you like?
I remember. Okay, I remember. What was the name of the chick who was the henchman of Pilaf? She was
Mai?
like, yes, I really liked her.
Yeah.
Currently with where I'm at, I was introduced to what was her name? Launch.
Yeah, Launch is cool.
Yeah, I love
Too
her.
bad they fucking forget about her.
They introduced Krillin in there, and I was like, huh, he's really short and stubby and kind of stuck up. And what was his name? Like the rival, the one who was with Bulma. What was his name?
Yamcha?
Yeah, I really like him. He's really
I
dorky
like
and
Yamcha
funny.
too.
Yamcha. Oh, we didn't even talk. Speaking of Dragon Ball,
We didn't talk about Dragon Ball Evolution.
one of the you knew I was going with that, didn't you?
Yeah, because I said Yamcha, and I was like, "That's Yamcha."
Yeah. So I finally got Erin to watch Dragon Ball Evolution. It was one of the times I went over to her place and we were hanging out, and we're there on the couch. I'm like, let's watch Dragon Ball Evolution. She's like, okay, and so we watched it, and it's still a very fun movie in the stupidest way that it could be because of how bad it is.
God,
But,
I haven't
like,
seen that in a long time. I actually remember
because we rented it,
yeah, we
and then
rented
never again. And then the next time I watched it was with Aaron, and so we so we're watching
Nice
it.
swing, good form.
the car sliding on the top of the car.
I don't know why, but
Oh.
the phrase "nice swing, good form" is so funny to me.
Because that's not a Goku thing. That's some, like, fucking superhero one-liner bullshit. Oh, I mean, I'm sure... I mean, Goku has his one-liners, probably, but, like, that's... Oh, Lord. So then, Yamcha appears. Yamcha comes into existence, and I don't say anything yet, and I'm letting Aaron figure it out, and I forget what was the tell, but I think just with how he kind of looked generally, or it was something he said, and
Yeah.
you looked and you're like, wait, hold on, is that Yamcha? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my god. And it was just the funniest, and we had so much fun watching it. Oh, it was the funniest, silliest, stupidest shit.
Oh my god.
We need to watch that again. That needs to become a fucking tradition.
Yeah.
We got Mega Man NT Warrior, which I don't know it. Oh, is that the one where he goes, Abraham Lincoln, no, or some shit? I don't know.
What?
Yeah. Like,
It's the stupidest things out of context.
Abraham Lincoln.
yeah, because they were on the White House or the Capitol, wherever fucking Abraham Lincoln is. You know, I know my historical locations. Anyway, because he was trying to fire a shot, and Mega Man like blocked the shot. He's like, you almost hit Lincoln or whatever. I don't remember. It's supposed to be some symbolic bullshit. I don't know.
Okay.
There's Da Boom Crew. Never heard of this shit. 2004.
I only know that from the like the little commercial snippets that are during the credits of the Xiaolin Showdown episodes that I have downloaded.
Oh, okay. Astro Boy 04. No.
Nope,
I don't
never
know.
watched that.
I think I might have heard of it, but I've never seen it.
Transformers Cybertron. I
Nope.
didn't watch
Don't know-
any Transformers
don't know what
shows
that
on TV. Beautiful Joe, I remember a little bit of. It was kind of cool. There were
I know
some
of it.
games. Yeah, I know,
Yeah, I
I
know
know,
of
I
it.
know of it, and I've watched a little bit of the show. It was kind of cool. I remember some of the characters, but I don't remember much of what happened in the show. But it was kind of cool. Monster Allergy, I sort of remember, but not very well.
Don't know
Never
what
heard
is.
of that.
Eon Kid, I heard of.
Nope.
Yawn Kid.
Don't remember it too much. Skunk Fu, I knew. Oh,
Skunk
Oh
Fu,
yes,
I
I know
knew
about
that
Kung Fu.
Yeah.
I knew Fox. We'll just
Oh
say-
yeah, I like Fox.
We'll
Fox is the best.
we'll just
Skunk
say-
is really cute
Just
too.
leave it at that.
Yep, just gonna put that there and drop it there. Sprinkle it in with some seasoning.
Oh my god.
Toon's Eye.
Oh, dude.
This is when Kids WB became CW4 Kids.
Yeah.
This is completely after my time. I never watched any of this shit.
This is my time.
This is my time.
This
to
is
shine.
my time to shine.
So we've got 4Kids TV, Chaotic, which I think we went
Chaotic.
over.
I
Oh,
remember
I love
Chaotic.
Chaotic.
I remember
Okay.
Chaotic.
The thing about this is like I know these shows, but I didn't watch it like on this like programming blog. I watched it like years after, because like I have a friend who like just she absolutely loved Chaotic, and she showed me it, and I was like, this show is fucking good. Like this is really really good. And I watched the whole thing, and they ended on a fucking cliffhanger, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah,
I
see,
think
because
I've only watched a little bit.
I've seen
I
it
kind of
around. I've seen
remember
it here and there, but I never like watched a full episode of it. But I
Yeah.
know of it, and it's like I think I saw it on like a streaming service. I forget which one, but like it was like Netflix or Hulu or something. And I was like, oh my god, I haven't seen this in a long time.
TMNT, Teenage Mutant
Oh,
Ninja
TMNT.
Turtles. Yep,
Mhm.
love that one. Again, a lot of these came from the Fox box, so there's that.
No, those GX.
Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Viva Pinata, which
Oh,
didn't
Viva
really
Pinata.
watch, but it was
I've
there.
seen it around, but never watched it.
Dinosaur King, I remember
Okay,
that.
okay.
I know
Mm-hmm.
of it.
So
What's up?
this is on I think Netflix now or
Oh, is it?
Hulu. Yeah. So here's the thing about that, right?
I
I
just
never-
know that the blonde-haired kid, his name is Rex. That's all I know.
I remember there was this one particular episode that aired on TV, and that was kind of. I never seen the show. I didn't even. I don't even remember if I ever saw it like in passing, but I kind of knew it was on. It was in like the selection and all that. There's this episode. I don't know the context. I didn't know the context then, but apparently at some point they go through time or something like that, and they're in these like they go back to like these like ancient places and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then this one, they the main characters end up in like Rome and stuff like that. What I remember of this one particular episode was that when they're there, apparently there was like a war going on, and this like other. I don't even remember. I think it was supposed to be like, oh, instead of soldiers, they were like little soldier like kids or something. Or I remember this one. It was just there was this character. There was like a soldier. He was like a little boy soldier, and he bumps into the female protagonist or like one of the characters, and falls in love with him. And it's the main character kid and him like fighting for her attention or something like that. And I remember, I remember that, and I was like, "What the hell was that anime called?" I don't even know what it was. And I saw it, and I saw the main character kid, and I was like, I think that's the show. And then I looked in the episode selections to where I think
You
it
found
was,
it.
was, and I was reading the description of one, and I was like, that's the one. And so when I hear Dinosaur King, I'm like, that's the episode that I think of because I remember that. I remember that was like the whole thing about that particular episode. And I was like, huh. Okay.
We got 5Ds talked about that. Go Ricky. Oh, that's not Go Ricky, but it's also called
Ricky.
Kikoriki.
Kikoriki.
Yeah, I remember seeing this kind of.
I have never seen.
Never
that.
heard of
What
it.
the hell?
I remember some of these characters.
I don't even remember. What the fuck?
This was way later. Yeah, definitely. Sonic
Yeah.
X, of course.
Sonic X. That's my childhood. So
I like Sonic X. I think it was kind of fun.
that is my childhood there. I remember. I
I
remember seeing all of season 3 on on
Metarex?
TV. Yes.
Oh, please tell
the
me that's
Metarex
the
are
The
fucking-
Metarex season is the best. It's the best one.
Oh, I love it so much. Oh,
Because you
my
love
God.
Cosmo, that's why.
No, but that whole season, just not even just Cosmo, the whole season, I was like, oh my God.
Cosmo and Tails.
It was so fucking good. I remember seeing like most of season 1 and 2 on there. I never watched all of those ones all the way through, but I remember seeing some episodes on TV, and then especially just all of season 3, and I was like, oh my God. It was so good. Like if it wasn't Sonic Sat AM, it was X,
Sonic X.
for sure. That I was like, oh my God, I love this.
Yeah, I love the Metarex.
Yeah, Sonic X was pretty good. That's actually where Jason Griffith got his start voicing Sonic. It wasn't in any of the games. It was in Sonic X. That's to come for the first like 2-3 episodes. He sounds a little weird because he was trying to like. Ryan Drummond was like the previous Sonic from Adventure and all that, and Adventure 2. So like that was what he kind of had to live up to, because that was what everyone knew as Sonic. That was the Sonic before.
I remember watching the Sonic voice video from, what was his name? Thomas Doc something.
Oh, Thomas Game Docs.
Yeah, like
I
I
was
watched
gonna
that
say
one.
that the Teddy K Gaming or whatever, the guy who did the compilations of like, here are the voices for different characters from shit.
No, it was like about like the actors and stuff, and
Oh,
like
okay.
I remember the Sonic one. I was like, huh, that's how Jason Griffith was there.
Yeah. He's still. If I had to say I have a Sonic, it'd be Jason Griffith.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love.
That's the quintessential
What
Sonic.
the Chris
Remember
Smith-
when we
what if it's
watched
not-
the
No, go ahead.
episode of the one episode of One Piece, the 4Kids dub, or the clip that I showed you, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like I was like, Usopp just sounds like Sonic.
yeah,
Well, he sounds like Jet. I think of Jet, but
Pegasus was in it. Was in Sonic X. He voiced the butler.
Oh,
It's just
that's right.
Pegasus without the.
Darren
Oh, that's
Dunstan.
right.
Without
yeah.
without his inflection, without the Pegasus inflection.
the Pegasus inflection, which is what
about
I do when I voice act all the time.
But yeah, he was the little butler dude. I'm forgetting his name, but yeah, I remember.
I think it was like Tanaka or something.
Yeah, something like that. Sonic X was good. I liked it. See, that's what I think of when I think human, like real world with Sonic. That's what I think of Sonic X.
I mean,
or the
it-
fan film, the
yeah.
2013 fan film.
Like Sonic X even had a whole Sonic Adventure arc in it too.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
I don't even remember
because they
that.
had because they brought in Tickle and Chaos and all that stuff.
Did they? I don't even
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, I forget which season it is. It was either 1 or
I know Shadow's in
actually
it.
I think it was in
but-
1 because also that's when they had the whole thing with what was it, Gerald Robotnik or something like that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because
okay.
they had a whole like Sonic Adventure arc
Wow.
in there somewhere.
I
I,
didn't
think it was in
remember that.
season 1. I think that was like the end of season 1, really.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. We got Kirby as the star of the show. Kirby has the name you should know.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
right back at
Spanish
ya.
Meta Knight, voiced by Eric Stewart.
Spanish man. Like,
That's so good. Yeah, I love that voice from Meta Knight. It's that's the quintessential Meta Knight right there. I don't remember too much. I do remember the Evil Kirby episode because it's fucking creepy. But I didn't watch it on TV. I saw it later because I was like, the fuck? And I'm like, that's a really creepy face. It's
Yeah.
not.
Isn't it funny how like we always remember those types of episodes? Like, oh, I remember the evil blank episode or arc.
Evil only
Yeah.
for Xiaolin Showdown when Pikachu absorbs that orb and like he looks
Yeah.
evil, but he's not actually evil. He just can't control his abilities. Yeah. Oh, I love that shit. I don't care if it's a trope or if it's.
That's what I'm saying.
Whatever,
Like
I love it.
characters that were possessed or have turned evil
Yeah.
for a period of time. Like
Yeah, that's
I
one of my
love
favorite
that.
tropes too.
Yep.
I think my favorite, like, but like one of my favorite tropes is like just in general is like it for like superhero shows and stuff or like like magical girls. When you have the team and they fight their evil counterparts. Like
Yeah.
evil
Oh,
counterpart
yes.
tropes are my fucking favorite thing.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
I actually like that Forgotten Land actually kind of references a little bit of Right Back At Ya here and there. It's got a couple nods. I'm like, oh my god, one of the
Yeah.
games is referencing the fucking show. That's awesome. More of that, please. Winx Club which sounds like a very
I
you
watched
show.
Winx Club.
Yep, I was gonna say.
Mm. Yeah, I remember seeing it around and stuff, like seeing it in passing.
I've seen it around. I've never watched it.
Yeah.
I only watched like the early stuff, because it had like so many seasons. But yeah, I remember watching the early stuff. It was good. I thought it was fun.
Funny enough,
I really
I
liked
thought
Darcy. What's her name? I think.
Didn't they have like a CGI show later or something? Didn't it come back? Or
I don't know. Maybe.
Funny enough, I remember the character designs being kind of interesting from what I did see in
hell is
passing.
this? Magical Do Re Mi.
Oh, I remember this.
Don't know it. This looks.
I remember that was
very
a thing.
bizarre.
That looks very anime right there.
It does. Some more cubics, which wait, we've got a little thing for it now.
Okay, I remember.
I vaguely
I
recognize
vaguely
it.
remember this too. It was. I think I saw like a commercial or an ad for it once, but yeah, I remember. I kind of remember that. I've never seen that around.
Acquired programming. They might have been just reruns and stuff. Yeah, Will and Do, Imagination, Skunk Fu, Tom and Jerry, Tales, Spectacular Spider-Man, Roller Quest, Giant Test, Yonka. Yeah, this is all stuff that Kamen Rider, Dragon Knight was there apparently. Don't remember that.
I don't know either.
I know of it. I've never watched it. But that friend who introduced me to Chaotic is actually a huge fan of Dragon Knight. So that's how I know that. Hunting is good. It was on Netflix, and I was like, this looks interesting, and I watched it because it has a lot of the same voice actors as Chaotic.
Cool.
So they're basically 4 kids voice actors.
I vaguely remember Hunting, but I never really watched it too much.
Yeah, I watched some of it. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good. It's interesting.
Let's see, what else can we find?
I think there's a character named Zalia in it.
Oh god. Tai Chi Chasers, which I don't really remember. Yeah, see, then you got Zexel. All the Yu-Gi-Oh stuff started to really go off the rails.
Capsule Monsters.
Capsule Monsters. So then after that, we got the Vortex, and this should be one of the shortest ones yet, because I don't fucking know, dude. More Cubics, more Yu-Gi-Oh! Things were happening. Kai was still there.
What? I'm surprised One
Bolts
Piece
and
or
Blip.
Mew Mew Power hasn't been mentioned on these lists, because I remember watching those too.
I know, I don't even see them here. Oh lord, that is so sad to see. Look how small these
That is sad. What
these
the
blocks
hell?
are getting.
Oh my god.
Cubics, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters, which they were doing reruns. Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, Kai, Sonic X, something called Bolts and Blip. Spectacular Spider-Man, I guess, did get some kind of... that is weird. Digimon Fusion, that's cool, I guess.
Can you pull up a separate tab for Bolts and Blip? Because that sounds familiar, but
There's nothing on it. There's... I don't know.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Minor or recurring character Steve.
Steve.
Cool.
That sounds kind of familiar.
Rescue
but I'd probably
Heroes,
see something about
Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, Iron Man Armored Adventures. Yeah, then they started rerunning shit that was like that ended years ago. Justice League Unlimited, Transformers Prime was on there, which I didn't even know that.
No way, I didn't know that.
Justice League I just said that. Sorry, WWE Saturday Morning Slam. They had an animated show, I guess. What is this? Daman Crossfire? Crossfight
why do I feel like I know that, but I don't at the same time?
It's a Japan thing. I don't know. I don't know. There's no pictures, no nothing. I don't know.
I wonder if that has anything to do with B-Fighter. Because I know what that is. That's Beetleborgs.
Special programming, Tiny Toons Adventures. Then you start pulling shit from... it gets real. 2013, 2014, 2012, yeah, that's where it started to die out, and that's when it fizzled. This was Vortex. There was like nothing on. Everything either finished, got canceled, moved to another station, so like
just had reruns.
Or reruns, and there was very little left to really watch and get excited for the way we used to with everything we just talked about for the last almost 3 hours.
Yeah, because I do remember seeing like Vortex.
Even this fucking logo looks boring.
Yeah.
And sad.
Because there was like Toonzai and like Vortex and whatever other name they went under.
Vortex was the last one.
I know the Vortex was, but I'm saying like before that, like I know of like I remember seeing the other names they went by and stuff like that before Vortex, and then before it just fizzled out and died.
Because it just got weird, and it was just pretty much unrecognizable because they didn't have any of the fun stuff, like that sock guy that used to who had that the Mr. Bill voice, or was like Bob
Oh yeah.
or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was not fun. I never liked
like,
that character.
Hey kids WB. There was him. Yeah, Crypt Keeper did do some kids
Hell
WB
yeah.
stuff.
That's my stuff right there. The Creepy Cook-Off, Ghoulish Guide to the Holidays, Extremely Scary Saturday. The one that I remember the most is Creepy Cook-Off, of course, because I was up and I taped that shit. And I still have a tape remaining, but it slowly has been deteriorating over the years. And eventually it will blank out. Like there will be nothing left on that tape anymore, and all my memories will be gone with it.
No, there is obviously such a thing as VHS preservation. There is a way to transfer it and copy it over to a digital format. I want to see if there's any way we can try and do that before the tape actually does fizzle completely. There's got to be a way to do it.
Because like it's almost because the whole episode of Static Shock that I have, it's like completely gone now. It's like gone. Like you can't even watch that.
I remember when
anymore.
one of those times I went over to go see you, we were hanging out and you were trying to play it, and at first it was kind of bugging out, and you were like really, really like it was real. You were just like, oh my god, no, please don't fucking die out on me. And
it's all I have left of that time. It's just so like.
It, as you can clearly see, if you guys are still listening now, yeah, like this was a really big part of our childhood. Because prior to Kids WB and all that, I was still like, me being as young as I was, before that, PBS Kids. Even sort of in the same time, PBS Kids.
For me, at the same time, it was this and PBS Kids.
So
I'm gonna say before that, it was like, I don't know, maybe like the Fox Kids or some shit like that. It's not like I can remember that far back, but apparently that was the channel that Gargoyles was on. And according to my parents, I was watching that when I was 3. I don't remember that. I love Gargoyles, but I don't remember watching it at that age.
It's pretty cool, though. Damn. Yeah, so there you have it. Kids WB going into Toonzai, going into Vortex. It just slowly became weird. And the main thing was Kids WB. That's where our childhood lasts. That's where it resides. With all the shows we talked about, just a fun time. Really, really fun time. So, are there any remaining words from you guys?
I just remember when it comes to people talking about Saturday morning cartoons, for me it's really just CW for kids and all of that, even a little bit of Kids WB and all that. And like when people talk about certain shows, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that because I have a DVD of it, or I've seen it on TV before, or something like that. Like most of the cartoons or animes that I've ever watched from my childhood were either from TV or DVDs.
Yeah. Even
the VHS tapes as well, like with Yu-Gi-Oh and all that.
Yeah.
Like that's where it's like when I want to have like that nostalgia trip, I look at those, or like I turn to those and I look up that kind of stuff, and I'm like, wow, I remember just being like seeing this and being so hyped for it. And
I remember seeing Yu-Gi-Oh, watching Teen Titans, watching Lunatics, making those Smash fucking comics while watching Lunatics and Yu-Gi-Oh and all that. I'd be sitting at my desk. I'd have the desk and the TV where we're sitting right now in the room, Vic, is where my TV used to be. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Because there was a time when we were jointly sharing this room.
Mm-hmm.
So the TV was in the corner here, and I'd be sitting at the desk and then looking back and watching and doing it at the same time.
Yeah, because this was that's when I watched like the other cartoons and stuff like that. Like I remember it was like in the corner in the room.
So
it's
fun stuff. Yeah. This was a good one. I was really hyped to talk about this. I'm glad that we all had our memories and everything.
Yeah, because it's such a trip when you think about it, and when you really like think about it, and it's like, huh.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for listening, or watching our logo for almost 3 hours. Tune in next time, and we'll be talking about some more cool stuff. So until then, I'm Mark.
I'm Vic.
I'm Miharu.
I'll see you guys later. Take care. That's not how I end it. Anyway, I'm ending it like a Destination Mark video.
Saturday morning cartoons. They were really good.
One Saturday morning. Oh, that's Disney. Fuck!
Fuck!